that's why I got yard work to do, and I was just like, do some yard work or be on a podcast inside with the AC on. You're like, what about now? I'm like, what about yes? So
what about now?
Funk Soul Brother. Is that the correct answer?
Right
Yes.
about now.
I did it.
You did it. You won the internet.
Welcome to the Quick and Response Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Pixel Response episode I Don't Even Fucking Know. With me is Nathan.
Hey, I'm back.
And Ventchat's own Fen.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, hi. Hey. What are you doing over here on this side of the internet?
I don't know. It was just 5 minutes before you guys were about to start. You said, hey, come on here. And I said, all right. So here I am.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
You got the OUYA? We'll just jump right in.
Yeah, I got the OUYA. I was a Kickstarter backer, and I guess I was one of the earlier people to get it shipped, so I've had it now, I think, a week ago last Friday, so whatever, 10 days-ish. And, I'm whatever you want to know about it, I can answer up to a certain limit.
Is it awesome?
It's awesome if you are judging it based on what it is and not what it's not.
Okay,
and
is it an Xbox
cryptic.
360?
It is not an Xbox 360 or a PS3 or any of those other things. So if you don't expect it to be that.
Is it like a phone on my TV?
Yeah, it's basically just tape your phone or your tablet to your TV and look at that, and that's what it is.
That's what.
No,
yeah.
I'll tell you. Okay, just for people who have no idea what I'm talking about. $99 Kickstarter console. And it runs on the Android platform, which is what people were balking at that have reviewed it and talked about it. They're like, why would I want to play tablet games on my TV or phone games on my TV? And yes, there is that aspect of it, but there's also people that are making games for the OUYA specifically, like indie developers are just starting to really get going with it. But it's a fun little platform. Two of the things that they don't talk about that much, which are prevalent on this, are emulation and using it as like a media center. So emulators are on the store by default for the N64, Super Nintendo, and regular Nintendo. I'm trying to think if there's any others. I think that's it right now. I want to say the DS too, but I'm not positive. I didn't look at that yet.
What about the CDI?
CDI?
Yes.
You lost me with CDI.
I think it's like a Philips platform from like the late 90s.
Oh.
It was basically a computer before computers could play discs.
I was trying to think of like CDI. I'm like, what technical term is that I don't understand that I need to know? And no, I don't know about that. But I also have heard that I think there's a PlayStation 1 emulator as well, but I don't think it's on their store. But I'm saying these other ones. Mm-hmm. When you get the thing and you turn it on, they're sitting right there, free. Just download them and, plug in your ROMs and you're good to go playing. I'm playing Mario Kart. And I said this on our show too, but I own all the games that I'm playing the ROMs of now. So don't get
you're legally supposed to.
Right. Well,
yeah.
In this case, I have not had, my N64 running for God knows how long, but I got a box of games sitting in the garage.
Sure.
So now I'm playing Mario Kart on there and what else? Street Fighter 2 and a couple other, Nintendo, Super Nintendo. So it's really cool for that stuff. I am not disappointed with the games that they've got on there now, but I just think it's very early and you're going to see more stuff. But if you're expecting to play Skyrim on it, you're not. If you're that kind of thing. Perfect for an indie developer. Like I would really love to see some cool sort of old school RPGs on here. That would be amazing. That kind of stuff. But everything's try before you buy. So I've been downloading a lot more stuff than I normally would.
Sure.
So that's really cool because there's actually a couple games that I bought that I probably wouldn't have, just because I wouldn't have even bothered downloading them if they were $2 or whatever.
Anything I might know?
Let me think. I got it sitting right here. The one that I bought that I can think of, if I can, well, I'll get to it eventually here. I just am not. I was just in the middle of I'm literally sitting here on a Mario Kart screen.
Okay.
One that I was playing that I kind of liked was Polarity. I haven't bought it yet, but it's from Blue Button Games, and it's sort of a knockoff of Portal, except instead of putting up portals and going through portals, you have a polarity. So like when you're blue polarity, you die if you hit red walls, and vice versa. So they what's that?
But okay, there's a shooter called Ikaruga where you're kind of switching between black and white, and projectiles will hit you if you.
And what's that other one? That Other World or whatever?
Oh right, Outworld.
Outworld, yeah, that too.
Yeah, that's
probably a lot of
Metroidvania kind of thing that does that.
Yeah, probably a lot along the same lines. It's not a shooter; it's more of like you're in a room with, sort of Portal-like puzzle. That's kind of why I compared it to that. But yeah, same sort of
like
deal.
A puzzle game. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that one's fun. Yeah. There's a couple that I played that I have not bought. There's one in particular that I was looking for. I mean, some of the stuff on here I don't like. Saturday Morning RPG is on here. Beast Boxing Turbo is kind of fun. I mean, some of these may be Android titles that got ported that I have not played on an Android platform. But like Beast Boxing Turbo is a lot like Mike Tyson's Punch Out, or like a Punch Out type game. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. There was one that I bought, darn it, and I can't find it now. That is like sort of a party game, and it reminds me of like Bomberman, but sort of a 3D version of that. And if I find it, I'll mention it. But yeah, I mean, there's a good handful of games so far that I've played that I've liked. And it's called Bomb Squad. That's the one that I purchased the other day.
Okay.
So that one, for example, gives you an hour of playtime, like unlocked everything, just play for an hour. And by the end of that hour, I was hooked. I think it was just like $5. So that is one that I purchased. I only have one controller for this thing, but it works with Xbox or PlayStation controllers.
I didn't know that part. Okay.
That is cool. Yeah.
Because there were people complaining about the default controller, like specifically some shoulder button issues I was hearing, like it squeaks or something, like it's not. I don't know if it's accurate of yours, but
I know there was some issues with controllers, and I know they said that they made some changes to a lot of them before they were shipped, and I think without having any way of knowing, it must have been changed before I got mine, because I haven't had any. Some people reported if you really slam the buttons, like not the shoulder buttons, but just the buttons on the top, you could get them to stick, and I can't do that. So
I just
have not had
that.
Yeah, so it seems like they've done something to mess around with the controller to fix it a little bit, and I don't know. I've had seen various people say various things.
Okay. Did you have any issues with kind of firmware updates or anything? I saw a video of Rocco of Mega 64. His froze like halfway through and just didn't continue. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know if I just got lucky, but I've read of people having issues connecting it to their Wi-Fi or a firmware update problem. I've had none of that. It just connected right up. It took maybe 2 minutes to download and update its firmware, and then I was good to go. And I've been running. And if you are, go ahead.
Well, I'm just like, like you were talking about a multimedia center or something like Netflix.
That stuff. That's exactly where I was heading. If you know what XBMC is, and I believe Plex as well, they're both media centers that you can put on your computer. And originally XBMC started off as like a mod for old Xboxes that you could put on your Xbox so you could have music or movies or whatever on there. The guys that XBMC since sort of took off, and it's not really an Xbox only type thing, so people use it on their computer and all this stuff. So the guys at XBMC started a build specifically for the OUYA, and OUYA officially supports it. Like right on their site, it says we support XBMC and this and this. And you can sideload apps just like you would on a phone or a tablet running Android, meaning you can download them and install them without getting them directly from a store. So that's what you have to do to get XBMC on there. And I did that, and it runs everything I've thrown at it flawlessly. So it's basically like having another little media center. Awesomewhere. And the thing's the size of a Rubik's Cube. So, I mean, you could throw it in a backpack and throw a controller in there, and you're good to go. Take it somewhere. So
It's that small? I guess I haven't
literally
seen it.
like barely bigger than a Rubik's Cube. And
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's got HDMI out on the back, so and that's it. So you have to have some way of getting HDMI. So if you're working on a super old TV, maybe no go.
Okay.
It's got, I'm looking at it right now, but it's got a USB port. It's got a Ethernet port, but also does wireless, and a micro USB, and that's what you got on the back.
Okay.
To hook up, and then it runs the controllers via Bluetooth.
Like 360 as well, or would that be just the USB? Or because
what's that? You mean for a controller?
Yeah, because they're wireless stuff. I thought Microsoft was pretty closed about that kind of thing.
I don't have a 360 controller to try, but I've seen, I believe it's right on the website. It says it works with Xbox 360 and PlayStation controllers. So I don't know if that means USB or wireless or what, but
okay. I seem to recall there was like some sort of third-party controller. Like you couldn't get third-party wireless controllers, at least for a long time. Like I haven't really looked into it in a while.
That could be true.
Yeah. But maybe there's some way around that they've figured out, and I don't know. But so all the emulator stuff, does that like work pretty flawlessly? Like it's not.
I've found a couple games so far that I haven't gotten to run, but I haven't really done much digging. Just like I've like the vast majority that I've tried have worked. There's been a couple of random ones that I've tried that have not, but trying to think, like GoldenEye worked, if you remember that from the N64.
Hell yeah.
So that was a big one for me. I'm like, yes, I'm going to be playing this again. Like I said, Mario 64, Star Fox, I don't know, pretty good list of stuff. I remember there was one that I wanted to play bad, and I still have the cartridge for it, but I downloaded a ROM for Blast Core, and it's sort of a game, if you remember that. And
I've been trying to play that, and
we've been talking about that.
Yeah, it revealed that my 64 has been like it's broken. So this sounds like a perfect solution because I got the cart now,
right?
It's like resetting perpetually my console. So we tried cleaning and stuff.
I am so amazed that you guys even know that game because that's one that I'm like, Esta on our show too. He was a big fan of it, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait. But that's sort of one of the ones I got right away, and I just looked at one spot and downloaded a ROM and tried it, and it didn't work. But I have not done any digging to see if maybe that was just a bad ROM or what it was. But yeah, I've had pretty good luck, and I just sort of got stuck on Mario Kart again, and just like been playing that like every day.
Mario Kart or Mario Kart 64?
This is Mario Kart 64 is what that's what I used to play, so that's what I threw on there. But
yeah. How much storage space does it have?
8 gigs internal, and then you can obviously put a external hard drive on it or a flash drive or whatever you want. So you can, like, so far I've been downloading stuff internally, but eventually I'm just going to throw like a 32 gig flash card on there, I think, and just do it that way.
Okay. Like, I guess the one thing that's kind of like, it does sound very interesting, but like people are kind of saying like Android hardware is constantly upgrading like phones and such. So like, will a year or a year and a half out from now, like if a new OUYA comes out, would that just feel kind of weird? Or
it's a good question. I really don't know. I think that they are thinking about doing something like that, like every year to put out a new console. But the question, I guess, is how long would your phone be good for? If you buy whatever phone, how many upgrades can you hit on it? Or I don't know what that, I don't know exactly what the future holds for it in terms
like before, like developers have moved past the point where you can like stuff. Yeah. Not really sure when the cutoff points for that kind of thing is, but
yeah, and that's the thing is what developers really have to be aware of is they have to develop, at least port it for the OUYA to be playable because you're not using a touchscreen. That's the biggest difference. And obviously, if you have any problems with scaling it or any of that stuff, but stuff I played so far has been pretty good. And I don't know. We'll see what's coming. I mean, there's some pretty decent sized companies or developers that have said if it gets popular, I'll push stuff over for it. Like Notch said he would put Minecraft on it if it got big enough, and
Yeah.
I heard Hawken was coming to it, and I'm trying to remember what else. Games here and there. I mean, if you go to their front page, they've got a list. I don't know what will eventually come to pass, but
I think Broken Age was coming out on that, right? The Double Fine game. I think they said that.
I have no idea.
I don't remember, but that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was part of their announcement with their Kickstarter or whatever that was on there. But anyway, okay. I'm trying to think like what else is pertinent to it's shipping in like a month for regular stores and stuff is my understanding.
Yeah, I think I heard June 25th was the release date on it, and if I'm not off on that, but that sounds about right. I can tell you Twitch TV looks great on it. So if you want just something you can throw in another room and watch stuff like that, it's perfect.
Watch those hot StarCraft matches.
Right. It's got a couple other things on it, like the radio, tune-in radio and iHeartRadio and that kind of thing. One thing that I really want to see on there that I don't yet, it really needs to have to be a media center is Netflix. And so far, you can sideload a tablet version of Netflix and get it to work. The center of that controller, you can't see when you look at the picture, and I don't know if a lot of people realize it, but the center of the controller is a touchpad. There's no sort of indentation or whatever to show you that that's what it is, but it gives you the ability to put a mouse cursor on the screen if you need it. And sideloading a tablet app like Netflix, where it's supposed to have a touchscreen, you do need to have something like that. And it works, but it's made for a tablet, so the resolution, I can't remember what it turns out to be, but it's not 1080p or whatever, which is the biggest complaint. So
isn't it something weird like 1020 something? Like it's not even a normal resolution. I could look at my tablet right now, but I don't want to really. But
I just remember it's like it looks okay, but it's not great, and that is something that I'm sure somebody is gonna, XDA or somebody is gonna fix pretty quickly and get a Netflix on there that works. So I'm hoping, or Netflix supports it, one of the two.
Now, I'm curious because you're using this as kind of a nostalgia device right now, your nostalgia machine, which is great. However, like we've been talking a lot, especially Nathan and I specifically have been talking a lot about how looking back on things, you're just kind of like, why did I ever like this? Have you gotten that at all from some of the stuff you're trying out again?
It's the games that are simple but have good gameplay there. That's why I got so nailed again with Mario Kart. It's just it's basic. There's not a lot to it, but it just works really well.
Still works, yeah.
Yeah. Specifically, I think I'm going for GoldenEye because when I tried playing that again, it was barely playable.
Just because it's so blocky and old, and how did I ever play this kind of deal? It's just
the controls, I think.
Yeah.
Like with the N64 controller, maybe it feels different on the OUYA controller, but it's kind of clunky, doesn't feel that good. So I'm just wondering if you've noticed any of that sort of stuff.
It felt so foreign to me to pick that game up again. I've really only put about 10 minutes into it and went on to other things. And I haven't gone that deeply other than Mario Kart into the nostalgia stuff, just because there's just a decent amount of free to try games on here. And so I've just been kind of going through, I probably have 20 or 30 downloaded, and I spent at least 10 minutes on each one, just playing through this or that, just to find out. I mean, some of them are just like you'd expect. It's just, let me just throw a game up here and we'll see what happens. But others you can actually start spending some time in, and you're like, I could see buying this for a few bucks. So,
is it its own like OUYA store, or is it some sort of pre-existing Android store? Just
an OUYA store. So whatever you get on there, it's so. For example, like the emulators are on there, all the games are on there. Anything that's on there is made so it'll run with the OUYA. You don't have to have you aren't going to open something and suddenly need a touchscreen or anything weird like that. Okay. So whatever's on there has been ported over to run on there. And that's the other thing. It's like I'm still looking at this a month before it's even supposed to be released publicly. So we'll see what comes out between now and then. Now that people are actually getting consoles in their hands and messing around with them. But
yeah. And you were telling me that it's going to be in the parking lot at E3.
Oh yeah, I just saw that today. I mean, I don't know what that means. It's just, I think you were saying that might be for foot traffic or whatever. I don't know, but they are not in E3. They are in the parking lot outside of E3, and they said they're going to have food and drinks for or keep you fed or whatever if you're a developer and you're out there hanging out. So we'll see. You're going down there, right?
Nathan is for sure. I'm still kind of deciding if I want to spend the money to go basically down to hang out and see some games, but mostly hang out.
Right.
I don't know. Like, Nathan already has its plan and stuff like that. So Nathan, you're going.
Yeah, I have a plane ticket and a floor.
So I'm thinking I just give you a flip camera. You walk around with it strapped to your chest and then just do your daily life. We'll edit it after.
I don't think, like a flip video doesn't have the battery for that, is my experience. But
okay, so I'm going to buy a GoPro.
Okay.
And if
I
you
would wear a GoPro
if you
helmet
destroy it, you have to buy it, but... Okay. We'll work something out off air.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I'm debating if I want to go because, dude, it's pricey. It's an expensive trip to just be like, I'm going to take a week off work. I'm going to go to this foreign city where I could probably get mugged. And
I didn't have any issues like that.
I'm not scared about that so much as it's like, and then I can pay like $1,000 for a hotel for the week and airfare there and back. Like, I don't know.
That's the part right there because they know they got you and they're going to get you with that. They're going to jack up all the prices.
Yeah. So I'm not sure.
I just wanted to add, I just caught this Mr. Marshmallow. I also played Smash Brothers. That was the other one. I did spend some time with Smash Brothers. So,
how did that play?
Pretty darn good. I mean, same as it ever was. Are
you a big Smash Brothers fan? Do you go to the Smash Brawls or whatever they call it?
No. Never was like that, but enjoyed it. So that was some nostalgia as well, like going back and jumping in on that.
How about some Star Fox 64?
Just turned it on, checked to see if it worked. It worked, and went back to Mario Kart for the time.
All right.
I don't know what. Yeah, I'm
just deep into the Mario Kart. Who do you play as in Mario Kart?
They were giving me crap because I was playing as Mario, but I do switch around. Today I was playing as Toad for a while.
Dude, you play as Mario?
I know. What's wrong with that?
That's what I said.
It's just so boring.
I'm trying to my go-to guys in Super were Yoshi and Toad, maybe. He's just a good rounded racer. But
sure, but my thing is that in every Mario game you play Mario, so it's I just want to switch it up.
You want to play someone else now?
Yeah, I'm following you, and I do switch it up. It's just I put up a couple of little 5-second things from Vine on Twitter, and I was Mario both times, and everyone's giving me garbage about being Mario. So. Rightfully so, I guess. I mean, I switched it around, but that, and then it's just entertaining because all that retro stuff is back, and then plus it just gives me another sort of little box to run movies off of from my home server, to another room or things like that. So that's I guess.
Really cool too.
Yeah. And so the reviews I'm reading, which I'm not saying they're wrong, but a lot of the reviews I've seen are like, I was telling Paul this, why would I want to play my Android games on my TV? Like, this thing sucks, D-. And I was like, well, dude, you're not getting the whole picture here. Like, I haven't seen one of them mention the emulators that are right there stock when you open the thing up. I haven't seen
Maybe
that.
Maybe it's like a thing like this is illegal or something, so they're feeling dicey about it. Because I haven't heard many people talk about that side of it much, and that sounds really interesting.
It's not like OUYA saying by the way, you can side load some stuff. I mean, it's right there on the store. Go get it, and it's free. So
they're being pretty bold about it.
Exactly. But they're also saying, and I forgot to mention this, but they're also not saying go download ROMs or anything. They're just saying, look, we're just putting this emulator up. That's technically not illegal. But one of the cool things they did, and I haven't messed around with this too much because I haven't played a lot of games that would require it, was one of these emulators has a way for you to buy with money rewind time. Have you guys heard about this? So you're playing an old Super Nintendo game. You get to a spot where you're running along and you fall down in a pit, you die. You can hit one of the top trigger buttons to rewind time 10 seconds back and then keep going from where you left off. So you can buy time on one of these emulators for like $2 for 20 minutes or something.
That's kind of hilarious because that's a standard emulator thing.
Emulator thing.
Yeah.
Right. So that was, I mean, because that's the way I guess this particular one was deciding they're going to make some money. I don't know. But there's multiple emulators on there. So I don't think you're really locked in. I'm not even using the one. But that one of those emulators, I forget the name of it. I'd have to look it up. But I believe it's that same one has ways for you to get your own games on their little deal as well. So not only can you play emulated games, but creators of games that would run on, say, a Super NES emulator can put their games on their sort of store within the store, if you follow what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So you open up their little app or whatever you want to call it, and then they've got your emulator and a place where you can go play other people's games they've made. So
cool.
A lot of neat little like side things to it that don't really get talked about too much.
I love how their big selling point for me in my mind right now is the nostalgia button that Nintendo refuses to put everything out on.
Right.
It's
like
just
the
like,
Wii U store is just weird. Like it's like, why isn't the Wii store as it exists now just on that thing?
Well, that's the thing. The Virtual Console, if they put every Nintendo game out there, I would spend all the money.
Yeah.
But
they
don't.
They're like, hey, we got like 10, and we're going to release one every week.
Like, didn't they just get Earthbound out there?
Not quite yet, but I think that's about to happen soon.
That should have happened years ago. Like, what
I know,
the hell?
it's been like number one on like Nintendo Power polls, and when Nintendo Power existed for like a decade.
Never forget.
Kind of, yeah. I do. See, nostalgia. I actually have it for that magazine. But reading the last issue again, I don't know. Like, I'm glad I wasn't still subscribing, but whatever. Like, it's old news. It's magazine. It's printed news.
Old media.
I love it, though. I love looking through those old magazines.
Like, here's some fan art. Here's the, written section.
The problem is when you have to move and you're putting all those old magazines into a box that's now 50 pounds. And that's one more box.
A lot of magazines. It's just like, I probably should recycle these, but I can't. I need to.
You should probably frame them. They belong in a museum.
They belong in a museum, exactly. All those posters I ripped out.
How's your move going?
It's going weird. I've never heard of anyone moving quite like we're doing, but we're just moving stuff over there, unpacking it, and then moving those boxes back to pack more stuff in, and it's taking weeks.
I've done that before.
Okay, like it just results in at some point you're sitting in kind of like this weird empty shell of your house, but you're still there. So I think the last few days is going to be like basically me with my internet in like an empty house. Just
like crying all the time?
No, just like, but like the internet will still be here until like the 28th. So there's still value in having that. Like I'm going to have to podcast or something alone.
So it's just going to be like your laptop in the middle of an empty room, one chair and a mic.
I was kind of comparing it to like, the Matrix type thing where you run into an empty warehouse and there's just like a phone on a pedestal in the middle of an empty room. It's like that. But it's a TV and a laptop and a microphone.
That sounds like the best podcasting setup ever.
Except it's empty. I'm like, are you picking up a bunch of echo because this room's kind of empty? Or no? There's this weird kind of ambient.
But there's nothing to distract you.
Right. I guess so. That's true. I still have my post stuff, though.
If you're leaving your internet on until like the last thing, you at least have your priorities straight because...
Yeah,
you can't not have that. So
that's the worst.
Like, we're packing up the kitchen right now. Like, food's not that important, but internet.
No.
It is. Yeah.
It's true.
The fridge is staying, so we can keep food in.
Well, I don't know if you know, but you can eat pretty much anything to stay alive. I mean, you could just go outside and just start chomping on stuff.
Eat some grass, trees, yeah.
Yeah, it'll suck, but I mean, you can't live without internet, so.
Not anymore, not in the 21st century.
Yeah. You can live, but it's not a life I'd choose to live.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you might as well kill yourself. That's all I'm saying.
Trying to remember, I think when I bought the house that I'm in now, I could move in, and I actually waited to move in until the internet was turned on. Like an extra week or something.
Yeah, it sucks moving and then not having internet even for a day. And then you're just like, well, I'm glad I bought these DVDs. Oh, I don't want to watch anything. I just kind of want to cry.
I'm having to deal with is like Kijiji etiquette. Like it's like posting free furniture on there. Someone replies, but then they totally fail to show up for like 4 days, and you're just like, well, should I give it to someone else? Like, what do I do? Like, I already
Yeah.
sold. I told him I'd give it to him, and he said he'd wanted it, but then he just didn't show up ever. So
I guess
No,
if
I
in
just have
case
threats
anyone
for
doesn't
sitting
know,
on the board.
Kijiji is basically Craigslist.
yeah, like posting something for free on the internet, just be like, hey, come on down, grab this table or something, but then they don't follow through on their end, and it's free, so it's not like I'm losing anything. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know what to do. I'm going down my list and contacting like other people who replied like 2 minutes later.
Do you still have your list of movies and video games you're trying to get rid of?
I have like bags of stuff in my car that are destined for like a pawn shop or something, or I guess I could try posting them. So not a list written down, but yeah.
Okay.
Why? Is there stuff you're looking for?
We'll talk after.
360?
We'll talk.
Okay.
Wait, yes. Dude,
Really?
yes.
Okay.
Why not?
I can add that to the pile of like Naruto and your copy of Demon Souls. I'll bring that back to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
bringing me my copy back.
Actually, I think it's at Brittany's house, or like the house.
Fantastic, even better.
There's also the vernacular of that because like that's sort of my house now, but not quite yet. It's weird, but
And yet it's not, because it doesn't feel like it. I don't know. That's
not yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, there's no
But
easy way to transition in this. I was playing Marvel Heroes, the beta.
Mm-hmm.
That shit is Diablo.
Oh, I thought it was another MOBA, but okay.
No, it's Diablo. Like, hey, Nathan, do you like Diablo?
I have no real strong feelings for it.
Okay, then do not buy Marvel Heroes for $60 or $200, which they are also selling it for.
What? I thought it was free.
No, they are selling Marvel Heroes. You can get the all-inclusive, like, Founders Pack, blah, blah, blah. You unlock everything for 200 bones right now. So when it comes out, you got all that shit.
Weird. I thought this was a free-to-play game.
It is. However, you still have to buy it. If you want stuff.
If you want stuff, okay.
Like, you
Is
can
it all
start off
cosmetic
with-
stuff, or is it like important stuff?
It's characters. So, hey, do you like Iron Man?
He's yeah, he's okay. Sure.
Do you like Wolverine?
I do like Wolverine.
How about Captain America?
I don't know. He's okay.
Okay, so you do not have to buy anything, because
Okay.
those are like the start off guys.
Oh, I like Wolverine, so.
There you go. So done. However, you can buy cool suits for them, or you can craft them, apparently.
Wait, yeah, like what suit is Wolverine in? Because of his crappy yellow suit. I don't
His
want that.
new-ish X-Men yellow suit. Like, not the classic yellow suit, the more orangey one. The new yellow, normal, crappy-looking one.
So not Hugh Jackman with a leather jacket.
He is not Hugh Jackman. You can get that skin, though.
Alright.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I've been playing a little bit of that, but more importantly, that transitions more nicely into, I saw Iron Man 3.
Yep.
That's a movie. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
I don't really
I
know
mean-
what to say about it, because it's like, at this point, this is what I expect from a movie that's based on comic books. It has to have the comic book character,
Mm-hmm.
and it has to have some crazy shit go on.
Like
Iron
just
Man
big
3 was
budget.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I throw this out and see if you agree or disagree? Better than 2, not as good as the first one?
Yes, I completely
trying to-
agree.
Like, I don't know. Like, I've grown kind of less and less fascinated with the first one because I don't like the first 40 minutes of that movie. I just think it's boring. Like, it's just like, he's in a cave, he's building stuff, and it's just like, oh, I don't
See,
care.
that's the part I liked.
Oh, okay.
I like
I
that.
like
like
that part
stuff.
too, yeah.
Yeah, this dude is just trapped in this cave, and everything is going bad for him, but he's kind of a genius, so he's just going to make this suit that can kill everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I like that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. The 2 was like, yeah, it was all over the place, kind of messy. I did like 3 more than 2 for sure. I just don't know how I feel about 1 anymore. It's been so many years since I saw it. But, yeah, 3 was fine. It was fun. I just... Lethal Weapon vibe sort of was there a bit.
Mhm.
I was also looking for it because it
A
was
little bit.
later. But you know, just specifically them at the end, like they're kind of down at the docks with like pistols and like just sneaking around. It was like this is basically cops. Like these are some cops right now. Like, this is,
Yeah, I think the biggest problem with Iron Man 3 is that there's not enough Iron Man in his suit. Like, there's not
well,
enough
after he
actual Iron Man.
crashes or whatever, he's just kind of hanging out as Tony with that kid.
That
Yeah.
was my problem with it, yeah, as well.
Mm.
I wanted more. I don't need. I don't know. I don't want to, spoil anything for anybody.
No,
but
let's do it. Spoilers
I'm
alert, blah, blah,
just
blah,
gonna
Iron
say-
Man 3.
I don't need to see 50 Iron Man suits flying around for like 4 minutes. I need to see one Iron Man suit flying around for like 45 minutes.
Sure.
And it's him in it. It's not
right, and it's him in it, and it's not. You're not.
Yeah.
You know, look, you fooled me. You got me again. I thought he was really.
I have to say though, I did love that part. Like when it first happened, it's just like, oh my god, all the suits. Okay, let's do it. And then it's like, okay, I get it now. Like I just want one Iron Man again.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
They're fireworks secretly. There was also fireworks.
I kind of felt like the kid who wanted dessert, and I wanted like a hot fudge sundae, but instead they brought me like 50 pounds of a hot fudge sundae, and I ate until I got sick, and then I was regretful of eating 50 pounds of hot fudge sundae.
But the thing is, you didn't eat that 50 pounds over 2 hours. You ate it within 3 minutes.
Yeah, it was like a eating contest of how much hot fudge sundae can I eat in 3 minutes.
So you're a giant fat kid eating a hot fudge sundae as fast as you can. That's Iron Man 3 in a nutshell.
And then it's like, at the end, you're satisfied, but somehow also regret. There's like a little regret, like, oh, I kind of wish it didn't go down like that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Mandarin
I was going to go with that. Like, how do you feel about the Mandarin not being, like, an actual cool enemy?
Well, like, they do kind of try to, like, make good on their twist and be like, well, actually, it was Guy Pearce the whole time. Spoilers. We already said spoilers, so watch out. But, yeah, like, the way they used Ben Kingsley I thought was kind of funny, but I also have no knowledge of who the Mandarin is in the comics, so, like, I was the wrong guy to make that kind of, like, to appraise that, you know?
See,
like,
my problem with Ben Kingsley is that they underutilized how good he is as an actor, I think. But,
well, they used him as, like, a comedic kind of guy, which was kind of weird to see, but having seen, like, the Dictator...
It's weird because it's like you could get anybody to do that kind of little short comedy part there. It's like Ben Kingsley is the dude that you get to actually act if you want a good role. I kind of
thought it was a cool use of their marketing because it definitely, like, I was not expecting that to happen like that because the way they used Ben Kingsley in all the trailers, you know, so you're like, oh, Ben Kingsley's a bad guy. And then you're watching the movie and you're just like, wait, who's this nerdy guy? And then he turns out. It's like, okay, this is as close as you can get to successfully pulling one over on me in, like, a huge marketed movie. You know?
And he breathes fire.
He does. He does. And the movie at least calls on how stupid that is, which I thought was okay. But yeah, Don Cheadle points out that that's weird. But yeah.
The biggest bummer of it is that they now have used that guy. And so that's what you get. You know what I mean? Like, there's not going to be another one where it's not that way. I don't know.
The Mandarin won't be.
Yeah, like the Mandarin is done. You use the Mandarin now in Iron Man.
What are we going to do about Fing Fang Foom?
Okay, is he a dragon or something?
He's a dragon that's summoned by the Mandarin.
Okay,
if I remember.
What's the deal with the Mandarin in the regular comics? Like, is he literally like a magician or something? Like, is it more like Doctor Strange type business or what?
You know how Asian people are really good at magic?
Yeah. I mean, okay. I'll roll with that premise. Well, yeah, of course. Obviously, they're all secretly wizards.
Mandarin.
Yeah, Mandarin.
Yeah.
Wizard.
Ancient Chinese secret.
Okay. It's like sorcerers.
I was never huge into the Iron Man comics. Like, the Avengers comics, a little bit. The other Avengers specific comics, yes. Never really Iron Man. So,
okay.
Yeah.
How did you feel about, like, their slight ties to the Avengers stuff? Like him having the weird flashbacks and everything.
It was okay, except I went with Erin, and she hadn't seen the Avengers. So,
really?
Yeah, so, like, she was just like, what happened in New York? I'm like, I'll show you when we get home. So we watched the Avengers as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know, it kind of ruins the Avengers, because there's that moment where it's like, oh shit, Iron Man just bit the bullet, man. He's done. But it's like, no, because I saw Iron Man 3 first, and, like, he's shooken up. He's got some PTSD going, but he's fine. He's okay.
Right. There's a moment in Avengers where you're like, oh, is he dead? I don't remember that.
Well, where he kind of just falls, and they're like...
Yeah, it's right at the end there.
Yeah.
Like, he's coming back through the wormhole, and he's...
I mean, if you're not a retard, then you know that it's not over for him. However, there's that moment of doubt.
That was part of what I didn't really need from Iron Man 3 was there's a whole lot of, like, and I know in the comics they go through a lot of the struggles, like me in the suit, and he is in a wheelchair, loses his, he's wearing the suit all the time, and there's all these sort of struggles with him in the suit and this and that. But I just feel like that's better left to the comic, and give me, for I guess lack of a better way to say it, give me more like explosions and Iron Man shooting stuff. And
yeah, like the part where it was him versus like weird fire people in that small town. I didn't really like that stuff that much, but then it kind of, that stuff went away again towards the end. And when it was him kind of being like Secret Agent Stark for a little bit there with his like crappy homemade spy kit, I thought that was kind of fun. But, or when he's like got part of the suit on and an Uzi, I kind of enjoyed that because it's like a weird version of like a normal action movie where there's also like super technology, but also you're shooting people. So I kind of had fun with that. But yeah, I don't know. Like I don't go into these really expecting that much. Like I won't own it probably. Like, do you guys collect these movies or do you just kind of watch them in the theater?
I don't think I own any of them.
Okay. I used to own Iron Man 1, and then once I was kind of like watching the subsequent ones, I was just like, oh, this is just part of like a giant thing. I don't want this.
Do the Spider-Man movies count? Spider-Man?
That's part of the Marvel universe or something?
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Not really. Well, I mean, it's like Columbia or whatever. Like, it's separate, right? Sony does those.
I own Spider-Man 3. I own the worst one.
I own Spider-Man 2, and that's it. Which
technically they're Marvel, but
yeah.
Well, I mean, if we want to go complete nerd right now, Spider-Man was part of the Avengers eventually. So,
but he can't be now because of movie licenses.
That's what's so silly.
Yeah. So Andrew Garfield will never roll with these guys, which weird. I don't know. Or like the X-Men stuff. Like I have the X-Men movies. But
I have those too actually, except for First Class because I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't own First Class. I don't think I need to. It's okay.
I saw it once and it was good when I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
But you like the last X-Men movie better than First Class?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
You're talking about the third one?
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're...
Or Origins, because I liked Wolverine Origins.
Oh, no, not Origins. I mean, just the last X-Men 3 or whatever.
I can't even remember a lot of what happens in it. I just remember not having as much fun in it.
Yeah, it's just kind of bad, but not like really terrible. It's a Brett Ratner movie. Like, it sort of works, but it's nothing special. And there's points in it where it's just like, Juggernaut is all wrong, and I hate that. Like, gets the nerd inside angry, because it's just like, Juggernaut's funny. This is terrible.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah, that is not correct.
Hello, bitch, I am the Juggernaut.
Like, hey, I'm Vinnie Jones.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Why are you...
I don't know, Vinnie Jones is a scary guy.
Yeah, he's tall.
He plays a soccer hooligan really well.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You're
about
right.
it.
That's true.
I think all British people do.
Play soccer hooligan really well.
Yeah, like you could if you're British, you could probably be a soccer hooligan in a movie.
I guess. How many movies about soccer hooligans are there? Like, I only know one.
Okay, what's the one?
Green Street Hooligans.
Oh yeah.
That's hooligan right in the name.
I was thinking Eurotrip specifically, that one part with the soccer hooligans.
Okay.
I don't know. British people, they're scary.
Mm-hmm. Speaking about scary British people, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Sure.
Movie this past week called.
I don't know how far in depth we should go.
I know this one has a specific moment that is a spoiler, but it's also the thing I hated the most. But we can't talk about it.
But the thing is, it's not a spoiler if you've looked up the IMDb back in the
Really?
They said who he played on news things. So
really, I thought it was shrouded in mystery. I'm pretty sure they intentionally obscured who he is.
No, because I remember reading that. I'm not even a huge Star Trek guy.
Okay, I'm going to see what he's credited as on the page, and if it is...
Yeah, and this is where it gets into weird territory because I know Fenn was saying he's a Star Trek fan, and he hasn't seen it yet, so I don't want to ruin anything for him.
No, it's not gonna... I'm not concerned about that. I would have, screamed like a little girl and hung up if I had thought, oh my god, I can't hear it. So I don't mind. I will see it. I'm a Star Trek fan, but I'm not concerned about spoilers. I'm not really one of those people.
I don't even know if I need to go into what they do with that to really get into it. It's more just like, generally speaking, I'm
about to spoil it. I'm always going to spoil it for myself, but I think I already know what it is. If it's what I'm.
Okay. Well, I guess heads up to those watching the stream, like some Star Trek Into Darkness spoiler stuff will probably happen. What is it you think I'm talking about?
Khan? You're talking about Khan.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so Star Trek Wrath of Khan version 2.
I thought there was something else besides that, and I was like, there's something I don't.
Like twist moment, I would say it was that moment really in the theater.
Okay.
That was like, yeah. I guess Paul, what was your experience watching it? Did your crowd go insane
No.
at any point?
No.
Okay. As soon as he said, "My name is Khan," like, I don't know, 20 people in the theater started going like, "Woo!"
See, but okay, the way that part plays out, I think that's the reaction that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
With me, it was dead silent, and it felt really awkward because there was like a silence for like applause or something right after he says it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas like me, that was a moment where my heart started to sink a bit, and I was like, "Oh, really? Why? I thought I was hoping he was an android or they did something new." And then they're just like, "We really like Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, you guys. So we're going to try to sort of remake it, but not, but sort of." And it got close enough to where there was like whole scenes playing out that are basically weird echoes of scenes from that movie. And
Like, I mean, if you've seen The Wrath of Khan, the
Yeah.
ending kind of happens again somehow.
Like the last like 20 minutes of Star Trek Into Darkness just really got under my skin in a way I could not explain. Like, it was like, I got so angry after that movie was over, and I was like, I was hard to explain that to anybody else. Like, I've been in like an ongoing forum conversation on Giant Bomb, trying to like explain what I said on there too.
Dude, you're supposed to stay off of Giant Bomb forums.
I knew someone on there would be talking about Star Trek Into Darkness. And I had
So
to
that's where you go to feed, basically. You
Yeah,
like
I also said
negativity.
but everyone on Reddit was kind of ragging on it a bit, or not. Or it seems to like love it or hate it kind of thing seems to apply to this movie, and I think I'm more in the hate it camp, just because it's sort of opened up this weird reevaluation of like all of the Star Trek movies, and I think I prefer my Star Trek in TV form is my like conclusion. Like, my favorite Star Trek stories never happened in a movie theater, and it continues here.
I can agree with that. Yeah. I mean, there's some just good sci-fi writing on those TV episodes that they know the audience is not smart enough to get it in a movie theater. They need to pitch it to the sci-fi nerd. You know what I mean?
Like, you can spend $2-3 million on an episode of the show that is dealing with like some social dilemma or some weird kind of out there notion. But if you're going to be like, we're spending $100+ million on like a big
way.
We need a lot of people to see it, so we can't put that stuff in here.
Exactly.
Or shove it to the edges, which, like, it was weird. Like, kind of thinking through this movie, like, they do stay true to some stuff that I was initially kind of angry about. Like, it's like, wow, this is like the most violent, like, aggressive Star Trek universe I've ever seen. Like, there's so much war and explosions and stuff going on. But they do stay true to, like, there's some, like, the characters you care about aren't ruthless and murderous, so they're still staying true to their characters. It's just the bad guys are killing people instead of just kind of blowing up stuff or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're shaking around this, bridge set because the ship's getting damaged. Like, it was like not that. When stuff blows up, it blows up real bad. In this one, people get sucked out into space and die, and I don't know. But yeah, I'm not sure. All I know is I got really, really angry at this movie, and I'm still trying to think what happened or what it was that did that. I think it's just it like lately I've been kind of thinking through that, like, that sort of that nostalgia thing of like creators of things not necessarily having a good reason to tell a story other than they want to tell a story they already like or something, like derivative stuff, I guess, remixes, like redoing from the past, like remakes, like all that stuff. Like, this just seemed to present itself as though it was a new story, and then it was secretly a remake. And them not being upfront about that kind of bothered me. Like, it was like, this is sort of just a remake, and they pretended it wasn't. and that seems dishonest, and I don't know. Like, it was... Paul, did you enjoy it, or did you have a weird...
Yeah, because I don't give a shit about Star Trek's history, so I went to go see a movie I was going to have fun with, and I did. It's that easy.
Yeah, like, it was such... Like, I was having a pretty good time for, like, an hour, and then once they started kind of going where they were going, I just got kind of... I couldn't just roll with it anymore, and it was kind of weird. I had a really strange shift in my mood during that movie.
Now, can I ask you? Sorry, I wanted to quickly ask you. Based on, see, now I've seen the first one, and I'm an old Star Trek fan, and I watched the original series, and it's all on Netflix, and I can watch it pretty much whenever I want.
Yeah.
The first movie before it came out, I thought this is a terrible idea. They're remaking a classic TV show and a classic movie series that probably doesn't need to be remade with these same actors. Why don't they make their own universe like all the other ones did? Then I saw it and I said, wow, what a great job they did. Great casting, great, enough throwbacks to the original series to make, fans of the original series sort of get on board, but not so much where it just felt overdone. But how did you feel about the first one? Because that sort of tells me...
That's the thing. I kind of really liked the first one, but I think it was because I went in with such hesitation about, like, how are they going to get this cast right? And then I was really impressed that they did get a cast, good chemistry. And that's still true. Like, there's some great exchanges between the actors and character that really work. But I think it's just because, like, the call-outs, I guess, like the callbacks to the past in this movie just felt pandering to me in a way they didn't before. Like, maybe it's like I've changed since I first saw the 2009 movie. Like, I haven't watched it in a while. Like, maybe my mood on that would be a little different than it was when I first saw it. Mm-hmm. Like, the surprise factor is gone now. Like, it's just a movie. But yeah, it was, like, there's some really on the nose, like, references to old episodes and specifically Star Trek 2, like the movie, that just were like, this doesn't seem like this exists other than it's supposed to get like a call out from the audience, like it felt kind of like as referential as like a Family Guy episode.
That sucks.
Like there was one scene that's just like, I don't think this scene gets like what people like about Star Trek 2. It only knows what like is a meme from Star Trek 2 essentially.
What scene?
Like yelling Khan.
Oh god, yeah, did you really do that?
Yeah.
That happens in a different context, and I could not believe that anyone thought that was a good idea. And
it was really funny. I started cracking up.
It was funny, and in the original, like Star Trek 2, it's not. And actually, that line is because it's so bad. Like Star Trek 2 has some dumb stuff in it, and this movie kind of treats that stuff like it's solid gold or something, and I don't know why. Like it's like overly referential about stuff that was bad, and then like weirdly dismissive of stuff I thought was important. Like,
we're just kind of like elbows you, like, eh?
Yeah, like, hey, remember Tribbles? We got one. And you're just like, why? Really? Okay. Like,
see, the last movie to me didn't, as the exact phrase you said, it wasn't too on the nose. Like you sort of got it, but it wasn't smushed right in your face like, get a whiff of this. We got an old reference right there,
Yeah,
and it sounds
here
like
there's
this
going
one's
to be at
doing
least one or two scenes that...
There was three.
3 scenes, you think, that were like, this scene exists because old stuff?
Dude, there was easily at least 3.
Okay.
Like, I'm not even huge into Star Trek, and I recognized them.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Like... That's the thing, though. Like, I was kind of really trying to think through all of it because, like, in a lot of ways, like on the surface, it's totally fine. Like, it's like really great special effects. The actors are all still doing a great job. Like, it keeps moving. It's well paced and everything. Like, that crowd really liked it. But my like weird analogy was kind of like judging a cake based on how much icing is on it or something. Like, there's a lot of good stuff piled on top, but at the bottom, like, if you scrape that off, there's not a lot under it. There's just not that much there.
Just a pile of shit.
Not that bad, but it definitely kind of bummed me out in a weirdly specific way. Like I think I'm still like in this weird minority of like really grouchy people about this movie, and I didn't intend for that to happen. I never do that. Like I never go into a movie looking to hate anything. It just happened. Like it just somehow over the course of that 2 hours, it started really rubbing me the wrong way. And I was not very happy after it was over. But a lot of things work for it fine. Like it might be still like a pretty entertaining movie in a lot of ways. I just got really upset. Like
I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, if you're listening to this and you're wondering if you should go see it, you probably just should. It's still a fine movie.
Like if you like that 2009,
Nathan's just grouchy about everything lately.
Yeah, it's probably because of this move or some other stress. No, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Honestly, you talking about it made me want to go see it tonight. Like I might, when we're done with this, go see it just because now I've got some other points of reference. Like, well, last 20 minutes pissed me off, and I'm like, well, I got to go see if if I get that.
That happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a friend of mine who didn't really like the 2009 movie that much was more impressed with this movie because it kind of just has more fun or something. Like it just keeps.
It ramps it up for sure.
Yeah, like which I guess my criteria is more based on TV, which is a weird thing to bring into the movies. Like I started saying like, yeah, this kind of fails to live up to the other Star Trek stuff, and they're just like, what do you mean the movies? And I was like thinking about it. It's like, no, I guess not, because I guess those movies aren't that great either. Like I had to kind of think through the previous Star Trek movies, and a lot of them wouldn't really stand on their own without TV context. So like Star Trek 2, unless you know who Khan is, like they kind of just keep rolling. It's just like, oh, he's this villain from his past or whatever. And you're just like, okay, like some explanation needed, maybe that isn't. Like, yeah. And this doesn't have a TV show. Like this is a weird thing. Like this cast of actors doesn't have like a TV show as well. So this is the only Star Trek lore they have is one movie, and then kind of references to stuff that they didn't even do. Which is
That's a great point, because because all the other Star Trek movies all have even subtle references to the TV stuff that you don't need to know when you go see the movie, but if you are a fan of the series, you can follow along. Like, oh yeah, Data with this and his brother lore and emotions.
First Contact stands out to me as being like, this is almost like a big budget finale to like a major arc from Next Generation, and that's kind of cool to see. You know, like that's a good idea. But again, it has so much invested in the series that is paid off there. Like it's like a big budget episode of the show almost sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Like Serenity and Firefly.
Yeah, kind of. Whereas this is like its own standalone movie universe, which doesn't have any of that richer stuff anywhere to be found because it never existed there.
It's a really good point, because it's the only Star Trek movie out of all of them now, those two, that have existed without a TV series to back it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's, and like for that kind of limited back catalog of stuff to work with, like I guess they're doing fine. It's just, it's a strange disadvantage to have. I don't know.
And they have to put in references, and then they do feel full.
That's their only tie to that universe, is like the weird parallel dimension that was the other show. So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's been kind of like my Star Trek Into Darkness experience. It's a weird specific case, but yeah, Paul, it's a fun movie. You're right. Like,
it's fine. I mean, if you like special effects, I got the movie for you.
Yeah, that's a good looking movie in a lot of ways.
They toned down the lens flare because I think J.J. Abrams was sick of getting hate mail, so they toned it down a little bit.
There's still a bit of that.
Yeah, but it's not every scene now, so that's good.
Right. Like, yeah, I did really like some sequences, specifically early in the movie, like with Bruce Greenwood's character. I thought there was some good character stuff, but like Pike and Kirk talking at the bar,
yeah,
like that stuff was okay.
Did you see it in 3D?
I did, yeah.
Okay, I did too, and I'm a little sad that I did because I feel like I would have gotten a better experience not seeing it in 3D.
Okay.
It didn't really like it was. The reason we saw it in 3D was really just because that was the earliest show it was playing. It was on Wednesday night.
I did the 3D IMAX and my head hurt.
Oh, I've never had a good IMAX 3D experience.
That's what I'm talking about. Like,
yeah, my eyes watered really bad at Beowulf, and then there was like a Harry Potter thing where they did the first 20 minutes in 3D. I think it was for the sixth one.
Beowulf is weird, though.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, not only are we going to throw this 3D IMAX at you, but Uncanny Valley up the ass right now.
Yeah.
Everything looks a little bit weird, and it's in 3D, and oh my god, I'm going to throw up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
So that might have been like the worst example to see it. But then also that Harry Potter thing, I was glad when they turned it off, like partway through the movie. It's just like, okay, good. Now we can actually enjoy what's happening.
Or Tron, where they're like, okay, put your 3D glasses on now.
Did they do that during that? I never saw Tron in 3D. Okay.
Yeah, there's a part where it literally is just like, okay, 3D glasses now on the screen, and that's when you have to put them on.
Stuff, like a little flash would appear. Like Superman did that? Like Returns? Which is kind of weird. That was a 3D movie? Partially.
Nothing like ruining your immersion by stopping everything and telling you to put on your 3D glasses.
It's kind of amazing, though. Like, text just comes on the screen. It's like, hey, guys, it's 3D time. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden your mind is blown because you're not used to it at all.
And your greasy popcorn fingers get smearing up your lenses. Like, well, how do I do this now? Everything's...
Well, because the thing is, when you go to a 3D movie, like, you start off, it's all in 3D, say. Now, it starts off with a title card and a bunch of, like, credits and blah, 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 and maybe two dudes talking at a bar or something normal, and it just ramps up. Tron is just like, no, this is all in 2D, everything's looking fine, put your 3D glasses on now, and then all of a sudden, poof, you're in an imaginary world where everything is digital. And you're just like, oh shit, I'm gonna feel sick.
That's how they did it?
Yeah. Into when he enters the Tron
That's
world.
exactly when it happened, yep.
That's kind of awesome, actually.
I take it back. That would be the coolest thing ever, right?
Yeah.
Take back everything I said. Sweet. But, I mean, stopping in the middle to put on 3D glasses, other than, that's sort of like a Wizard of Oz moment where you go from black and white to color or something. I mean, that's a little more acceptable, but
sure.
If you really are like kind of, well, we only did half the movie in 3D, there's no real reason, but at this point, put on your glasses. That sucks.
Yeah.
But I get it with the Tron thing. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It's still disorienting, though.
So,
anyway,
one vote for see it in 3D and one vote for not 3D. Is that what I'm getting?
Well, it was more just like it certainly didn't negatively affect my experience at all.
Okay.
And there is a bit where they're kind of using this HUD thing on their visor screen thing.
The UI, yeah.
Yeah. That was kind of neat to see, like, this weird, like, you're seeing the arrow projected into space along their trajectory. Very specific thing. I don't want to get into it. There was a few moments that I thought worked fine with 3D. That was actually kind of cool. But I don't know. We didn't go to that because we wanted to see it in 3D. It was just out of convenience. So if the showtime you want to see has 3D, it won't ruin it. But don't worry about it.
Sure.
So, yeah. At least I didn't think it would do anything.
So what's next? Romulans? The third one?
Klingons, I think, right? Because they kind of...
I guess, yeah. Yeah.
At least mention them, and they seem to be going in that direction, maybe, but I don't know. The thing is, though, that was the other thing that was kind of, like, hanging over my perception of the movie, was like, wait, J.J. Abrams just quit Star Trek, basically, to go make Star Wars, so what are they gonna do for the sequel?
Romulans and Star Wars.
No. Like, just crossover.
Just piss everybody off that's a fan. Why not?
Star Wars 7 is also Star Trek 3. Like, people have been joking about that. Like, it's both.
Yeah, kind of.
That'd be dumb, but okay. I'm trying to really, like, yeah, it's just, I'm not sure where they're going to go, or who's going to pick up the mantle and try to do something, or if they're just going to wait around for J.J. Abrams to come back. Like, I'm
just looking at the list of Star Trek movies, and according to this, the next one should be The Search for Spock again. If this last one was The Wrath of Khan Part 2.
Right, but okay.
They do a weird twist, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. We can't. Let's not go further.
It's different, but not completely. But
okay,
anyway.
okay.
Yeah. Wait, I'm looking at the list of stuff Paul's wants. What you watched the end of Walking Dead season 3?
I didn't watch the end. I thought that by the time we did this, I would have, because I rewatched with Erin. She caught up, so I rewatched all of season. Well, I didn't watch all of season 1 and 2. I caught the end of season 2 and up to where I left off on season 3 again.
Okay. So you're still not past that point.
Nothing new to report. I still kind of don't like season 3 at all. So
I definitely kind of lost some enthusiasm as it kept going. I haven't seen the last half.
Fen, are you into Walking Dead?
I don't know why, but I'm not, and it seems like something I should be into. I just never got into it. I'm down with zombie movies. Like, I've seen all of Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, all these things. But when it comes to the series, it just is not enough for me. And I know there's more to it than just the zombies, but that is sort of like the central,
Like, that's the hook, is like weekly zombie show or something.
Right. So it just never grabbed me, but I do I recorded like a ton of them and have them sitting there. So, if I ever do get into it for some reason, I'll pick it up. But yeah, never pulled me in.
I'm still going to say I like Season 2, though. I know a lot of people hate it, but I thought it was a perfect pace of like character development, shit going on in the background. And it wasn't just like, hey, yo, the governor, he's kind of a piece of shit, right? Like, that's all kind of Season 3 is so far.
Right. They seem to think that character's a really interesting villain, and I am yet to be convinced. It's just like
he's just a person.
Okay. Yeah, he's like, I mean, everyone is kind of doing shitty things in this world, so I don't know why he's better or worse than Rick, per se. Like, it's just like, we don't like this guy because I don't know. But
because he's not part of the group you've been following for 2 years.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. Those people are kind of mixed bag.
Apparently he's actually
apparently
he's actually way worse in the comic. But then there's also the thing that I said about Game of Thrones, where it's like, hey, yo, I don't care. I'm not going to read these books. I am going to watch this TV show. I don't care
Unless
what you have to
this
say.
Work as a TV show, you're failing. Like,
sure.
Don't expect me to read the extracurricular stuff in order for this to function.
Right, and if it only functions as a comic, then why did you bother making a TV show? I don't like when people cross medias because they think it could work everywhere and they don't adapt appropriately.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like, no, pretend no one knows any of those things. You can't just assume knowledge because this is a different medium. So don't try to lean on that too hard. Yeah. Which, in a way, kind of makes the game, they did it right, I suppose, on that level. They told their own story separate from everything, right?
For sure.
I mean,
I like that game.
With the occasional character wandering through from, like, elsewhere, but that's about it.
And we're talking about the Telltale game, not that shooter.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Played that shooter. Although, I don't know. Some of the footage I saw made it look like it could actually be kind of dopey fun. In a way, like just kind of like I am messing with the worst zombie AI in an open world kind of environment, just hitting things with a bat or something. But yeah,
but isn't that what Dead Island was supposed to be?
Yeah, and I had fun with it for like 10 hours and then stopped. So
and got way too angry apparently.
Got way too worked up. Yeah, turn off the HUD in that game and all the music and stuff, and it got into my mind way too much. I was just like, stop stuff. Like, it was like one of the few games where I felt like I think real adrenaline is flowing because of what is happening.
I did play that game, and there was it did have something. Like, I remember just bashing zombies' heads in.
Yeah.
And it gave you an unusual sense of enjoyment when you did it. I mean, more so than other games. I don't know why.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing. I ended up having to stop playing it. And also, I think I stopped playing it at the point where the level design gets kind of bad. Like, everyone enjoys the first area, like the resort, and then once it starts moving into, like, more narrow corridors and stuff, people start to turn on that game, and I think I kind of fell into that, too. Like, it's just like, I don't like this area anymore. I think I'm done.
You were still all into checking Riptide out at PAX, though.
I did check it out, but apparently that game turned out kind of lame, so I don't know. That's just based on reviews and stuff.
And that's special
apparently
edition.
they did.
Jesus,
they didn't really fix the UK thing. Severed torsos,
big boobies.
Yeah,
that'll sell a video game. It actually does, but I don't know. It's still kind of weird. I don't remember how we got on this topic.
Well, we're talking about Walking Dead, and then zombies, and then other zombie stuff.
Sure. Okay. Well, there's a lot of zombie stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Is Cry of Fear related to zombies?
Kind of. It's related to horror.
Okay. Well, that works for me as a transition. Let's go with it.
Okay. It's a horror game. I don't know. It's based on the Half-Life 1 engine, or Source, I guess. Half-Life Source.
Oh, was this the one that, like, Steam released? Like, it's on Steam?
Yeah, it's finally on Steam, and it's actually free?
It's
free.
Mods as kind of just, hey, we're going to put a spotlight on this mod for some
like
reason.
Black Mesa and stuff.
Yeah, which is kind of neat of them to do, but, like, what is it that warrants that kind of... Is it good? Like, is it pretty sweet?
It's kind of freaky, I guess. I don't know. Are you into horror games?
I've liked some in the past. Like, if we're going to count Deadly Premonition.
See, I'm getting into this weird... Yeah, you don't need Half-Life, but I'm getting into this weird thing where, like, I grew up with horror games and horror movies, and I love them. However, I'm turning into a giant vagina and I just can't handle a lot of stuff like that anymore.
Okay. So
And
tension is just bad now?
It's just one of these things. It's like I'm not a kid anymore. I go work my 9-to-5 job.
Yes.
I'm dealing with stress all day. I want to come home and relax. I don't want to be killed by stuff, and I don't want to have to shoot weird zombie things that twitch all weird. And no, fuck, make it stop. That's it.
I wanted to ask you, because there's different types of horror games. There's a horror game like I don't know, like the one we were talking about, or like say like a Left 4 Dead 2, where you're just shooting stuff and there's a million zombies. Then there's a horror games like I guess Amnesia probably, or games like that where it's just pretty dark, quiet, and then every about 5 minutes you get the bejesus scared out of you. And those are the ones where I'm with you, where it's like, I work all day and I got to come home to this.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you.
Like, I want to come home. I want a sandwich made for me, and I want to sit and watch my Walking Dead season 3.
Yeah.
I'm coming home so you can just scare the shit out of me every 5 minutes in this too dark game. Like, get out of here with that.
And the thing is, the games you're talking about, like, I can handle some jump scares, and if there's like something going on that's not just horror, if there's a neat storyline, like Dead Space and stuff like that was kind of freaky, but at the same time, I was enjoying what I was going into.
Just an action game, yeah.
Well, Dead Space
BioShock,
1 specifically. Maybe? BioShock, yeah, where like there's some parts that are kind of creepy.
It's like a creepy, atmospheric game,
right?
But it's still, it's primarily a story, and you're playing through it.
But dude, these like amnesias and like stuff like that, they get into your fucking head.
I will say I've never played Slender outside of your house because I just don't want to.
Yeah,
it's not something you can unwind with. It's just, do you want to be stressed out like within 2 minutes? Right. Well, hey, we got something for you.
And then at the same time,
there's a new version of it too. It's supposed to be even better, and I don't want to.
Well, the Arrival, it's the actual release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, just, I don't know. That doesn't sound like something I would like to do right now. I was playing some Metro, and that gets a little intense, but
Metro still has a neat premise that is enough maybe to get you through it, though, because it's like, it's a shooter and takes place in this weird post-apocalyptic Russian tunnel, the subway tunnels, and like your currency is bullets and blah blah blah. Like, it's kind of cool, and it's based on that book, and apparently that author hates that game. But anyways.
I thought I heard otherwise. Like, they were kind of co-marketing those pretty well. Like,
no,
buy the book, you get a code for the game.
He did an interview with Patrick on Giant Bomb, and he's just like, I fucking hate this game or something. It's just like, okay, whatever.
Oh, okay. I guess
because he's Russian, right? So he doesn't really care about like the American media, what they have to say. So he speaks his mind,
right?
And he outwardly just doesn't like the game very much. And like Patrick was saying, you could see the PR people just like cringing and like, just getting all uptight about it. But I mean, for an interviewer, that's amazing, because you're like, I need to know everything you have to say right now. But anyways, the games like that, though, specifically Amnesia, because that was brought up. Like, I don't know if you played Amnesia at night with headphones on, but like that will just start making weird noises and like whispery sounds in your earphones. Yeah. And when you're done playing, you pretty much think that you're in like a video game. You like take your headphones off, you can still hear those fucking whispers, man. I don't know. I don't like it when a game gets into your head and just destroys you from the inside out.
See, I think it was about the time when like you were saying, when I started working full time, that's when that shift changed. Because when I was younger, I didn't care. Like, I would just play whatever, and if it scared me, it's like big deal. Or if it was designed to lull you to sleep and then blast you with something that would make you jump, that's great. But now I come home from work and it's like, I've had a long day and I've had this happen and that happen, and I've had all my real life stress. I want to relax, and I don't need that, That's kind of where and some people are cool with it still, but not me.
Yeah, I'm finding more and more that I'm not cool with it at all.
If that's the point of the game, I'm cool with it being in the game as a piece, but not the majority of the game is meant to just, jump out at you at points.
So anyways, Cry of Fear, Steam, it's free. If you like being scared, like, I don't even know how
jump scares or what
it is. Jump scares, but I don't even know how scary it really is, because everything looks kind of silly in it.
Okay.
So it's one of those things that's like, I'm not immersed, and this thing is just moving really erratically and funny because it's a Half-Life 1 model. basically. Yeah. And it's running at full, like, 60 frames per second, so it's twitching all funny and unnatural. I don't know. It's just one of those games that's free on Steam. If you want to go play it, you can go do so. I mean, you can't beat free, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I had
kind
to
of a
see.
neat way to get mods. Like, that's kind of cool that they're doing that, but I didn't personally check that out.
Yeah. And then speaking of being stressed, I watched all of Law and Order SVU season 12.
Okay.
I love Law and Order. And I think, was it on here I was talking about how I was obsessed with the subreddit Morbid Reality?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Law and Order SVU is Morbid Reality in a TV show, basically.
You just take upsetting stories and then retell them.
Specifically sex crimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That shit bothers me.
Okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, I watched all of
How's
season 12.
Ice-T? How's he doing? How's Ice-T doing?
Ice-T, he is barely in season 12. I don't know. He's like a side character.
Okay. I thought he was, like, more primary than that, but...
No, it's all about Maloney, man. He's the guy.
Cool.
He's the main
I don't
guy.
know his characters. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Me
So
neither.
If you like
I
stories
know I
about
see.
if you like stories about molesting little girls and boys and rape, that's probably the show for you.
I
But
don't think they'd pitch it that way, but okay.
Yeah. I was just like, God.
I just
Way
made
to sell it.
I just made a really terrible sect of the internet very happy. The people in the darknet right now, they're just like, yes.
Did the DarkNet people come up to listen to podcasts or no?
They probably have their own. I've told you this. I've been wanting to dive into the darknet.
Like, see how how does this work over here? Because apparently it exists. But...
No, it does exist, and there's like ways you have to go into it so that you won't instantly have all your information and computer stolen.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, don't even try to unless you have like tons of, like pretty good know-how as to how to hide where you are and what you're doing, but also like security and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm in the exact same boat. I don't know. We haven't talked about this, but I have a curiosity, but I also have a deep respect for, not wanting to delve where I don't have I feel an adequate amount of knowledge to be safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to get in over my head immediately, I'm pretty sure. So I should probably not do that.
The FBI will be at my house tomorrow morning because someone's going to just like pile all kinds of whatever on my computer as soon as I roll in there.
Right.
I mean, I know the basics. I know what I'm supposed to do, but I don't know. I have no experience, and
Yeah.
I'm not 10 years old at my parents' house where the cops show up and it's like, oops, well, no more computer for you. It's like, no, I live here, and the cops show up, I'm going down.
We need to somehow meet some hackers and then hang out at their house, and then we can see that happen without risking our own identities.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff on the internet I would love to be a part of as a spectator and just be able to see through, like, you go to a zoo and you see, like, I was going to say the velociraptors because I'm an idiot, but like the gorillas or something.
I'd want to, yeah.
And they're behind glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want to do with the internet, with the darknet,
Yes.
deepnet, whatever you call it. I just want to see it. I want to see people interacting in there. I don't want to see kiddie porn. I don't want to see how to make an IED from a toothpaste bottle or something.
Right.
Like,
okay.
You want to go to the zoo. You're like me. You want to go to the zoo. You want to look at the gorillas and watch them interact and see what is there, but you don't want to climb in the cage with the gorillas.
Or just like the only option is like, oh, you want to see gorillas? Well, go to the jungle. It's right over there. And you're just like, oh, well, no, that's too dangerous.
Yeah, like I don't know, but I don't want to go to the jungle because there's also like the other gorillas in there that will shoot you.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of bad people in there. I do not want to go in there. That's the darknet. However, I know my curiosity will one day get the better of me, and I will probably report back my findings if I'm not like hanging myself from the roof from what I've seen. But yeah, I don't know. There's some nasty shit that goes in on there, and I need to be somewhat a part of it. I need to see it. I need to know everything. That's my problem. That's why morbid reality is a thing. Like, why else would you
that's
want?
Like surface net stuff. So how much worse?
Oh, dude, morbid reality is nothing compared to what they do in there.
Oh, probably, but maybe we're building up the legend.
I mean, it's
of the
not
Darknet
all. It's not all
Like-
apparently kiddie porn and beheadings. I mean, there's just sort of anonymous email and things like set up so it's untraceable, untrackable conversation that may not be about those crazy things and various other things like forums and whatever.
But I mean, let's be honest. When there's something that's completely hidden from everybody, that's where all the terrible people.
Yeah, that's
are.
where all the. There's always like stories floating around about if you want to put a hit on somebody, that's how
I know it's so gross. I don't know, but I need to see it. Also, like Anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
I like those guys too. Like, I don't know. There's a bunch of weird internet stuff we could talk about, but I want to see. Like, I get a little excited.
Like, see it from the other side, kind of.
Yeah, I get a little excited every time I hear Anonymous has done something. Like, a great wrong in the world has been righted somehow by these masked vigilantes behind their computers, when really they're 12-year-old kids with, like, an ad blocker or something,
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I want to see them operate. Like, I want to see them go into the darknet, find people that are doing illegal shit, and just wreck them. I just need to see stuff like that, because I need good news stories every now and then, and there's not very many of those on the internet these days.
You've heard of, I guess it's the Silk Road, right? On
only
the DarkNet
recently.
deal?
I haven't at all, actually.
It's where you go on the DarkNet, and again, this is just strictly speaking from reading about it, where you go to get drugs, and you can order drugs and have them sent to you, and I forget if they use bitcoins or what method of what new crazy method of payment they've created over there, but it's a whole thing just for that, and it's all somehow on the down low and anonymous and whatever.
Okay, there's a wiki article summarizing what it's about, but
I could be off a little bit. I'm just going based on what I remember.
Sometimes called the Amazon.com of illegal drugs.
There you go.
eBay for drugs. Okay.
And I don't want to go. I don't want to buy anything. I don't want to sell anything. I just would. If it was safe for me to at least look at it, I would want to just see what it is. That's all.
Just like, wow, really?
Just look at it. Yeah, like, what is it? Wow, look, I don't even know what that is that they're selling, like that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't want to, I have no desire to use it. It's a place I can't go. Maybe it's just that's maybe the reason I want to go there.
It does say
don't look behind this door.
Bitcoins is the primary.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually a thing I've only recently become aware of, is that is a currency. Look, it's just like, oh, okay. I didn't know that. Like, I'm going to plead ignorance. I have no idea that was actually a thing. I thought it was a joke for a while, but okay. Like,
that is a thing.
Yep, that was real.
I don't know how there's a crazy market crash in Bitcoins recently, too. Like,
I think that's probably why I started hearing people talk about it more and more.
Yeah.
But
what is the worst thing either of you have seen on the internet?
I'm trying to, there was a while there where there was a subreddit called Jailbait or something like that. I think it was to the point where it was just like, this is almost child porn, and then they got shut down as a subreddit because it was too dicey. And it was one of those things where it's just like, I probably shouldn't look at this because it's going to get shut down. It's illegal. So I didn't, but it was like definitely aware of it. It was like one of those weird things where it's just like, well, click on this now or you'll never get to. It's just like, yeah, but there's probably a good reason. Like, I don't know. It was like the diciest Reddit got in a while. And that was like last year.
I remember that. And then they took all kinds of heat, but it's just funny because like anyone can make anything really on Reddit, and it's, so it's like,
you make a subreddit, like just that one started getting weird amount of traffic for a while.
Right.
Like, wait, why does this exist? Was like someone eventually asked that and posted on just like to the Reddit, like main Reddit forum or whatever about Reddit. And then it was just like, oh yeah.
And then there are just like these weird sort of news articles popping up, like Reddit is the home of child porn. It's like, well,
now that we're aware of this, we probably can't leave this here, so we're gonna have to shut it down. And but then there was a big outcry because it's like, dude, free speech. And it was just like, but we don't want to get in trouble. So, but I guess for an actual there was I thought it was a dude straight up getting shot in the face, and it was, but he survived. But it was if somehow I got linked to it through Reddit, and it was on YouTube, but like restricted YouTube or whatever, behind the wall of you have to log in. But yeah, I got like shot through the cheek.
Yeah, you know it's bad when you hit that. It's like,
Yeah.
you got to sign in. And you know it's not nudity, or at least it's not supposed to be on YouTube, so you know it's going to be something.
Yeah, and it's just like, wait, what's happening? And it's just like, oh, wow. Okay.
Well, I mean, you saw the Bud Dwyer film, right?
Which one?
The one where the dude is like, he was a treasurer from Pennsylvania, and he called a news conference because he was under investigation for, like, what the hell was it now? Stealing money, I think? I can't remember, or like accepting money as a bribe, something like that. So he got, he called a news conference, like video and everything, and he pulled a gun out of a paper bag and shot himself in the head.
I didn't actually see that, but weren't you and Lauren talking about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's classic internet crap right there. But yeah.
Like, that went darker than anyone was ready for. Like, yeah.
Like, kind of, yeah. I don't know. That was weird. I mean, I have seen a picture of child pornography, and it was the most like, I feel gross. Just, that shit is not something you forget. It's disgusting. So.
Like, just click the wrong link on 4chan or something? Or
Kinda. Not 4chan, though. Back in the, like, ICQ, or the IRC days, not ICQ.
Right.
Yeah, just like, child porn link. There you go.
Yeah.
No, IRC days. I don't know. Shit got bad. Mistakes were made. I don't know. But that's probably the worst. I don't know. I've seen a lot of, like, the Faces of Death where, like, people...
That was what I was going to say, yeah.
People get maimed or murdered or whatever. That
accidental death caught on tape.
That has little to no effect on me anymore, and that scares me.
See, you were saying, like, what's the weirdest thing on the internet, and that's where I kind of went to, but that I saw off internet, like...
Yeah, the VHS tapes.
Yeah, not a little kid, but, like, a kid, and it's like, you know, sleepover or something, or you're at a friend's house or whatever, and it's like, I got the Faces of Death tape. And I'm like, what's that? And
I found it in the woods.
Like, yeah, this is fucking horrifying. Like, oh my God. And I still remember seeing it, and I could even vaguely remember parts of it. I think there was like somebody getting hit by a train, and
that's the part I always remember because they spin around and around. Ugh.
Yeah, it's just terrible. But you know, that would be up there against anything I've seen on the internet, and it would be something like that. You know, I don't think I've ever even actually seen child porn, thank God. But something
I would
terrible.
Recommend it.
No. I mean, you know, I'm not no interest in that. And God, that's the only thing. It's like, it's just scary. You know, you got to be even careful where you go because you can accidentally stumble on it, and then what?
If this podcast wasn't on a list before from all the dumb shit we've said,
welcome
it
to
is
the list.
now.
Yeah,
welcome to the list. But yeah.
Somebody say something happy. Nathan, what have you been doing, for the love of God?
Okay, I wasn't sure how to get into just, hey, I've been playing some video games, but have you played Super Mario 3D Land?
No, I haven't yet. I've been wanting to. That's the one Mario game I will take my I kind of hate Mario games ban off of because they're all the same and try it.
Yeah, I've been really, really impressed with it. I guess it's the team that made the Galaxy games, but they've kind of gotten away from what I didn't like about that, which is like maybe it was too similar to Mario 64, or like I guess basically whenever you get to the end of an area, there's just a star launcher thing to a new area. You know, like it just felt kind of arbitrary. Like there was not much cohesion to the levels or whatever. Like, it was just kind of random space stuff. I don't know. It didn't do it for me, is basically all I mean. This has like a better design philosophy for its levels. Like it almost feels like they're taking classic Mario gameplay, like 3 and World kind of stuff, but then there's like a 3D aspect to it. Like it'll be like specifically, you know, in the Super Mario Brothers 1, you get to the end of the stage and it's you trying to run across the bridge to hit the thing so Bowser falls.
Yeah.
Now it'll be like a weird kind of drawn out 3D obstacle course, but you're kind of basically doing that. Like you're avoiding Bowser, you're dodging over stuff, jumping around, trying to get to that area. Blocks are falling, all this stuff. But it just feels real, like really well. Like I don't know, the mechanics are really good, and it just feels like well laid out to where it's like, wow, that was awesome. I'm impressed. I did that. I jumped really well. I made it to the end. And it's the first time I felt that way about a 3D Mario game. Like, where it's just like, man, this feels like great.
Yeah, because you kind of lost me at 3D Mario because 3D Mario, like I've never.
But it's like a weird 2D 3D hybrid in how it's designed, and I was really, or like you're basically doing a Super Mario Brothers 1 level, but the fireballs are coming straight at you, kind of stuff.
Okay,
like,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I found myself really impressed with some of the levels, and like kind of like the 3D land or like the land games, I guess. Like I just played Super Mario Land 2. There's like a lot of variety from level to level. Like it's just like this level has a mechanic where there's like the beats of the music make platforms appear and disappear. So you got to kind of be waiting for the correct timing to jump through the level. But that's just like one level. And the next level, it's like every time you jump, it flips a platform like from red to blue or whatever. Like there's basically a bunch of panels that are red and blue, and if you jump, it'll flip to the other side. So you have to jump where there isn't anything yet, and because you jumped, it'll then appear. But you can't be jumping too much, or else you'll just fall. Like stuff like that. Like and that'll only be in like 2 or 3 levels across the whole game. Like there's a lot of variety amongst the stages, and that's only in the main campaign. Because like I rescued Peach yesterday, but then the game gets like way crazy. Like all the levels after that. There's a special world that is basically the whole game again, but with like different stuff. And the levels are way more challenging, and Luigi is like part of that whole thing. You unlock him at the end of the first world. And I don't know what happens beyond that, because I thought the whole point of the second playthrough was to rescue Luigi, but I already have him, and now there's still more. So I'm kind of still investigating what is still in there. But I don't know. I've been really, really impressed by it. Like it's the best feeling 3D Mario game I've probably ever played. And I've played both Galaxy games and Mario 64.
Tangentially, what I was going to say was, you asked me about any games that I had played that didn't feel, or I was like, why did I play this? Yeah. Honestly, Mario 64.
Yes, thank you.
When I played it all the way through, and I don't know if I did, completed 100% of every possible thing, but I played the entire game at least once through, maybe twice, back when I had it. And I tried, and it runs great on the emulator, but I just found it incredibly clunky to start moving around and doing things with.
That is now a weird product of its time.
Mario 64 Mario is loading his gun up as we speak.
I was laughing because I saw him say earlier something like, "Oh yeah, 3D Land is fantastic," and I'm like, "Who said that?" Oh, Mario 64 Mario. Okay,
yeah.
Like I'm gonna have to break your heart, man. I'm sorry,
but yeah. Oh, and just real quick, the other thing I want to say, you were talking about that where the beats of the music make stuff appear or disappear in platforms, I think it was. Did you say?
Yeah.
There's a great game that is not, it's out on the OUYA, but it could be so much more, but it's just a demo, but it's called Dub Wars, and there's videos of it up where it's a shooter, and it's just you're moving around, and you only shoot when the music beats. And it's dubstep, so whether you like or don't like dubstep, I could take it or leave it. But when there's like a big drop, all of a sudden, all kinds of crazy different effects and whatever start going off around you, out of your ship. Like, it's sort of hard to explain. It's a visual thing, but it's just a cool little like concept game that could be really good if it comes through. But it just reminded me of that Mario thing. But
cool, yeah.
Anyway, back to that.
Yeah, I kind of just like it when games kind of pay more attention to how the music is impacting stuff. That's the only stage that did that so far. Maybe there's more of it later, but and then I don't know. They just do good stuff with the costumes in it. Like I've never liked there's a Bumblebee suit in Super Mario Galaxy that just didn't do anything for me. Here it's like, hey, you got like the Boomerang brothers, I guess. Like they were kind of in Mario 3. Like now, and you got the Hammer Brothers outfit in that one. Here you get a boomerang. So it's just like, yeah, this feels okay. And like in a weird way, like having to line up and throw your boomerang at the guy feels pretty good. Whereas like there's no targeting or anything. You're just kind of like trying to get it right. But it feels kind of as close as you can get to like Super Mario Brothers 3 mechanics in a 3D world. It's really hard.
The Mario shooter coming soon, where you throw a bunch of I guess fireballs.
Fireballs too. Like fireballs feel awesome in this too because you can kind of like bounce them off stuff and like they'll be bouncing around inside like the 3D area. So you got to bounce around a corner and hit a guy or something. Like just I don't know. It feels really really good in that weird loose game description of feel. It has it really well, and I've been pretty impressed by it. And I choose to believe that is primarily Yoshiaki Koizumi, because, as we know, he made the great Zelda game. So why not the best Mario game too? I don't know. He made Majora's Mask. He was the co-director. Yeah, I don't know. His
Ben,
name
what are
was,
your
like,
opinions on 3D
personal list.
Mario as games?
Sunshine and stuff. I guess I also played that. But
I'm fine. That was exactly when you said the feel of it's good. When I went back to go play obviously the one I've got the most recent experience with is the N64 Mario World or whatever. What is it called again? Mario World 64? Anyway.
Super Mario 64?
Super Mario 64. That one, the feel of it is bad going back. And it was the first one that I had that feel of. And maybe it's just, I need to play it more, but it just felt very like the camera's crazy and I don't know. There's just a lot of sort of like, I can't even get myself to relearn how to do everything again. It's so, the camera's swinging every which way and bad. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, like, I'm down. Sounds good. If they can bring that 2D feel to the 3D, like you sound like they did.
Well, generally, like, it's kind of weird. Like, maybe it's because I'm playing it with the 3D off, but every so often there's a point where I'll kind of like get kind of weirded out that I have 3D control when I'm trying to do 2D stuff. So I'll just like jump into the background by accident, and it's just like, there's no platforms back there. Like, you screwed up. Oops.
Yeah.
But I still have lots of lives left, and there's like still a mid-level checkpoint and stuff. So I usually don't lose too much progress that way, but there's definitely been a few occasions where I just jump real bad, and I feel like part of that is how disorienting this new level design is, but it's also just me getting used to it. Like, once I got comfortable with like Super Mario World, I would like be able to just run through stages like crazy. And this is the first time in a 3D one I've like felt a similar thing. Like, it's just like, no, forget it. I've already played this castle. Let's just go. And I'll just be like running and jumping across stuff and kind of getting a good rhythm going.
I think that's important for a Mario game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say there's also like time trial stuff once you get the special stages. So I'm assuming that probably relates to your 3DS like friends list or whatever. I'm not really sure where that stuff shows up, if there's leaderboards or whatever. But after I saw the credits roll and went back into it, now it shows you your final time at the end. And it's just like, oh, okay, so I can do that better. And there's also like star coins, as they're kind of like in tricky areas to find, or like kind of secret hidden areas. There's special coins you need to unlock like extra hard stages, and on occasion, like at the end of a world, the castle will require a certain number of star coins. So that might get frustrating if you don't have enough. You kind of have to go back and grind some levels, but that just hasn't happened yet for me. Like, I always have more coins than I need in order to keep playing. But I don't know, just I've been kind of pretty impressed with how much variety they have in there and stuff. No, what's it, Karibo shoe? That's not in there, but yeah,
that's too bad.
Tanuki though, and actually that was the thing. I like playing through it the first time. I was like, oh well, the Tanuki suit's here, but it's basically just just a regular leaf because you don't have the stone ability. But then once you beat the first half, you get the stone ability. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is actually works as a Tanuki suit now. Like, you hold down and then you are a stone statue and the dudes ignore you and stuff. Like, I don't know. It's hitting some Mario Brothers 3 buttons really well, but in this kind of weird context. Anyway, I've talked about it too much. I think it's a really cool game.
I want to go back to 3D games for a second.
Yeah,
because I don't get to talk to Fen a lot. Fen, 3D Zelda games, go.
Well, Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. I mean, how can you? I'm down. Don't like those? Then those are both.
Say it is like, if you don't like those, you can fuck off.
No, not. I mean, not really, but they're just. I guess what I'm saying is they're both good games, regardless of if they're a Zelda game or not. So they throw just a good game in the Zelda world. And again, I haven't played them for so long.
Sure.
Maybe because that's another one that I'm looking at probably getting on here is at least maybe Ocarina of Time to start out with. I don't know. So I may go back, and there is that piece of you that's just like, please be as good as I remember it. I don't want to blow it with this because I have good memories of playing through that a couple times. So overall, yeah, I'm down. What about you?
Which one of those two would you prefer?
Probably for me, just because I think I played it more as Ocarina of Time, but I know there's a lot of people that are Majora's Mask. I have, so that's the thing. Like, talk about how many times you want to buy it. I bought that thing again on the Wii, Majora's Mask. So I don't know how many times individually I purchased it, but yeah, and that's probably the other reason, because I did play through some Majora's Mask more recently, so I'm more looking forward to Ocarina of Time, because I have not played that for quite a while, and that's
fun. I definitely haven't played through it as many times. It's more just like how weird the structure is compared to the other ones is still kind of novel to me. Whereas it's like I've binged pretty hard on a bunch of Zelda games lately, so after you play through Phantom Hourglass and then Skyward Sword, and then you're trying to play another, it's just like this is always the same. And then that one is like weird time travel stuff. So it's just like, this is weird. This is totally different. So at least it has a different reason you're going through dungeons and doing stuff. But that's not to take away from those other adventures. Like I think I'm going to put Link's Awakening on hold for a while, just because it's again too similar to what I've been doing. But yeah.
Do you have a 3DS, Fen?
I don't know.
Okay, because they released Ocarina 3D on that.
Right. There's kind of... Is it also just better looking? Like, did they...
Oh, yeah. They improved the graphics and everything, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, now you have me interested, because I'm pretty sure... I'm trying to remember if there's a 3DS emulator on this OUYA or not, but... Well, I can't remember what there is.
I don't know. Do the touchscreen stuff or whatever. Like,
yeah, I know.
Hat on it, but...
There's something... I don't know, but it probably wouldn't be worth... It probably wouldn't work well.
You could probably hack one on there. Just saying.
Well, you can, if they're out there for any Android device, you can sideload whatever you want, but it just would be how well would it work. But yeah, so I'm that's the other thing, with this thing is there's so many games like that I could, how many hours could I spend just doing Zelda playthroughs on this, and looking at that, well, it's $99, but you look at what you can do with it, with all that retro gaming, and it's like, man, I already know I can get my money's worth out of this thing just from that alone.
I guess that's kind of a weird point like I didn't mention before when you're talking about the reviews for it. Like, it's like, who would want to play Android games on TV? It's just like, I'm going to put my hand up, because I'm playing phone games at my house a lot.
I'm doing that too.
Why not have it on a better screen, like with better sound? Like, I don't understand.
And port it over so it works with a controller the way it's supposed to work, and that kind of thing. Like, I'm okay with it. I like the type of games, like we were saying before, like a Mario Kart, where, well, it's not really that complicated of a game, it's just a lot of fun. That's the type of games that I'm interested in playing on this thing. I don't need it to be like a brand new release on a brand new console. As long as it's just a entertaining, fun game, I'm in. So that's what I'm kind of looking for on this. And like I don't keep going using Minecraft, but any guy with a good idea that can make just a fun game has a console to put it on. That's sort of the idea behind it, which I think is really cool. So, and then you can directly, I forget what OUYA's cut is off of the store, but you're buying it, they have a console to put it on. You can test it out. You like it, you can pay the guy, and boom, you got it. So it's just so easy for people to build on. Hopefully we'll see a lot of good stuff coming out.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to check out that parking lot display. See what's going on.
See what's going on. It sounds like they're giving away food or something, so I think it's at least worth walking by and see what they got going on. I'll be curious to hear.
I like food.
I like food too, and if I'm going to be paying like $8 for a really bad pulled pork sandwich, maybe I should go over there instead.
You're still on that, huh?
That was a bad sandwich. I was really disappointed.
That was like half a year ago.
That was almost a year ago right now, because that was E3 last time. Yeah. No, dude, I'm not talking about those sliders. I'm talking about the pulled pork sandwich I bought at E3. It was also.
Why do we talk about food so damn much?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but food's good. I like food.
I saw them twice in two different things where they talked about where they're going to be, mentioned food, and each time, like in each article, they're like, and they said they're going to have food up there, and so.
And we all know the press room secretly doesn't have food, so maybe that'll work out.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would at least where's the problem with food?
At least take a look, because look, I mean, they could do a lot worse than buying like a couple $100 worth of pizzas or whatever just to get people to hang out. Seems like a pretty good idea.
So do you want to open and close with OUYA, or is there other topics on the table?
Going back to Nintendo for a quick second.
Oh yeah, okay.
They did that whole fuck Let's Players thing.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a weird thing. Well, like, they didn't pull the videos though. Like that was kind of in the early moments of that story, people were kind of saying like they're shutting down videos. It's not. They're like redirecting ad revenue, right?
Yes.
Like they're basically like, no, we're entitled to that. Thanks. It's like,
And the thing is, are they?
That's kind of. I think that is a valid question.
Like they are legally, but should they be?
Right. Like, as the law stands now, yes, they're well within their rights to do that because the intellectual properties being displayed are theirs. But I was trying to wrestle through this on the one-man episode I did of Top Down Perspective. Like, it's just like trying to explain how many different sides to this story there are.
Wait, you did a one-man episode of Top Down?
I did, yeah.
It finally happened, huh?
Yeah, I did. And I don't know, our listeners have been pretty nice about it. But yeah, it's just like, I was trying to make this weird analogy to like, is it kind of akin to like, well, it's an activity, so it's like the guy who originally created the chessboard or like the football is trying to say everything that uses these is mine, when it's like, well, every individual time a person plays, say, Mario Kart or Mario Party, it's not going to play out the exact same way. So someone watching it won't be like, oh, well, I don't need that experience now because I've seen it. I watched the movie Mario Party, so now I'm good. It's like, no, it's not like that at all. Like, you could play Mario Party, and who knows what's going to happen. Like, it's up to you and the people in the room playing it. So that's kind of a weird thing to... Like, they're treating this as though it was like a movie or an album or something. It's like, well, it's being used. Like, it's being displayed.
It reminds me of baseball or NFL. You ever hear, like, cannot be rebroadcast without the express written consent of the commissioner or whatever?
Yeah.
And the game's different every time. But it's their game, so they're saying we own all the... I mean, I know it's different, but...
Yeah, it's weird. It's like that thing that happened, like when the guy hit the ball like this, that one time, it's just like, that's ours. And you're just like, what? Why? Who cares? Like, it kind of ceases to matter as soon as it's already happened. So
well, somebody on Twitter said it's like using Microsoft Word to do work, and then Microsoft being like, we own that intellectual property.
Right. And you're just like, well, I wrote a book.
But I don't agree with that. And I'll tell you why.
It's not
because
quite the same. Yeah.
You have one license. Like, first of all, when you buy a video game, you're buying a license to use it, right? You're not buying the rights to, like, you don't own a video game when you buy a copy of it. You're buying a single license.
Well,
no, you are. Because you don't have rebroadcasting rights. You don't have rights over the IP. You have the rights that you have this one thing and you can enjoy it for your use or whoever wants to borrow it, blah, blah, blah. When you buy a video game, I'm saying you don't own it.
I feel it gets really weird when you introduce multiplayer into it. Because that point, it's not like there's like a narrative that's being ruined or like that is copyrighted. It's just like a list of basic rules or something.
Okay, you're talking specifically about like Mario Party, if we're going to use an example.
Yeah, like, or someone plays a game like that, or like, hey, there's like a StarCraft video or something. Like, I guess since we're talking about Nintendo IPs, let's keep it to multiplayer stuff.
Like Smash Bros. Or something.
Yeah, like someone's playing some Smash Bros. Or Fortune Street, and it's just like, well, okay, like that's a less defined thing. Like if someone's playing, like in the example that like the guy who kind of first mentioned all this was like Scott Wild Games, or what was his name? I don't know.
Dude,
it was
I don't know. I don't watch Let's Plays.
I don't either, but he was playing Luigi's Mansion, like the new one, which you could say like, well, he's kind of, you know, like anyone who watches this then might be less inclined to play the game because they've already seen how to, like, where everything is and they've seen the story. So at that point, that's maybe a little less defensible, but I don't know. I've heard like Destructoid's take on it was kind of like, well, people who are watching these are typically 10 to 14 years old, so they don't have enough money to buy the games anyway. So they're secretly like, there's not money being lost here really, because they weren't going to buy it anyway. Like,
okay,
that's maybe a bit too generalized. Like, I don't know if that really is the case. Like,
that is really generalized. Yeah.
Yeah. Like as a kid, I was mowing lawns and doing chores and then buying a video game every couple of weeks or whatever. Like,
but you came from a generation where kids worked. Damn it.
Okay.
They didn't have the rap music and their boom boxes.
It's weird because I originally was thinking, why would you want to do this? Because you're taking away just a giant advertisement for your game. But then when you said the Luigi Mansion thing, then it sort of hit me. Well, in that context, And especially if it is maybe I'll buy this, maybe I won't, or a kid that doesn't have, he can't buy 2 games, he has money to buy 1 game.
Right.
He gets to sit through and watch the game being played, especially if it's sort of a, start at A and get to B type of game, and he knows everything now. And so now, like, all that magic is gone of how does this game go. But
like, the more linear your game is, the more it's going to be. Yeah. Which, I don't know. Like, personally, I've only really ever watched 1 or 2 things that could be described as a Let's Play, and, like, the first instance, I thought it made the game look really cool, and I stopped watching it and started playing it. Like,
the endurance run?
Yeah, the endurance run of Persona 4.
Yeah.
And the second time, it was Deadly Premonition, which I already owned, and I just thought it was irritating to see someone else play it, in my mind, wrong, so I stopped watching. So it's like, I am not the target audience for this. Like, apparently they're about a decade younger than I am, the people that watch video games more than play them, maybe. It's still a weird phenomenon I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around it, and, like, I mean, not to bring his name up, but John, he doesn't understand it either. Really?
Like, why? Like, but, like, the ones I've seen of his, like, there's at least a bit of, like, history and trivia that he tries to bring to it. Like,
right. The way he does it is more like a book report
I'm going to
or something.
teach you all about Superman 64, or, like, this is what this Donkey Kong game is about. And here's
sure.
Like, it's like, or, like, it's not the same, but Angry Video Game Nerd, like, his videos are edited down and everything, but there's almost a historical canon, like, quality to it. Like, these are the bad video games, and now you know about them. Whereas, like, I didn't know half of these existed before, probably 3/4 of them. Like, I learned about a lot of games watching those videos, which, like, maybe that's the thing. Like, maybe there's a certain lack of, like, no one cares past a certain point. Like, even the companies don't. Like, it's just like, no one's going to be making money off of, like, a 25-year-old Game Boy game, so whatever.
Yeah, they're not going to be making the chug of change on that. Anyways, let's circle back around to Nintendo products.
Yeah.
Kind of.
New stuff, it's a little weirder. But
and let's circle back to our friend John.
Yeah.
Because why not? Hi, John. We said your name again.
Wasn't there last episode for that reason. Apparently he did talk about this on Retsu Talk. It's another podcast.
Okay, I don't know what that is. Anyways, what I'm getting at is Nintendo products. Like, so when he started getting bigger, it was due to ROM hacks of a Nintendo product.
Yeah.
What would their stance be on that? Because it's technically using their tools, but another person created it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't know. It just gets weird and convoluted when you look into stuff like that, like the Kaizo stuff.
Right.
What would their take be on that? Since you're a PR representative from Nintendo, tell me all about it, Nathan.
I did exchange emails once with Nintendo asking if they could send us stuff. So sort of, I've contacted them.
Did it go better than Ubisoft?
They were pretty nice about it, but yeah, I guess. I don't know. I got real snarky with Ubisoft. I was in a bad mood today. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm trying to think through, like, Nintendo, like, sorry, what was the exact question again? I was just thinking about generally, like, how it looks PR-wise.
Okay, so you are Nintendo PR right now.
Yeah.
So you got to get a fake accent on, by the way. Yeah. What is your take on this whole controversy?
Right. I guess
ROM hacks. No. You're Nintendo PR from Nintendo Japan.
Okay.
You got to give me the accent.
No, I'm not going to do that. But, like, all right. I don't want to do it in character. I just want to comment. I don't know how to do this. Like,
Fine.
Okay. Like, id Software's attitude has been kind of like, once an engine gets past a certain point, they'll kind of just release it. So just like, hey, here's Doom 3.0. Like, go have fun. Like, go make some stuff. Like, they'll just release that. I would hope that Nintendo would kind of look at this as a similar thing. Like, it's just like, hey, we're not, like, making Super Mario World games anymore, so that people are kind of messing around with these tools and making levels and stuff. That's kind of cool. Like, sure, whatever. Like, it's just fans expressing how enthusiastic they are about our products. So that works for us. Like, what is the one, though? There's, like, a weird mashup Mario game that's coming out that has, like, tons of assets from all sorts of Mario games in it. I've just heard it like
I don't
referenced
know.
in passing on podcasts and stuff. Like they've definitely seemed to have like turned their like a blind eye to some stuff that seems like it should be within their rights to shut down. You know, like I'm trying to think of other stuff where that does happen. Like there was supposed to be a really elaborate Skyrim mod that made everything Lord of the Rings, but then the license holder of Lord of the Rings got pissed and like shut it down.
Sure.
Like that, or like Capcom and like that Mega Man fan game. Like they went the other way with it though, right? Where they actually,
they're just like, hey, good job, guys. Here's money.
but like Square shut down a Chrono Trigger 3D remake. Like just stuff like that seems to always happen. Like there'll be a fan made project that will then just get shut down eventually because someone notices it. And that's kind of lame. But is the popularity of these ROM hacks and stuff that huge? Like, is it going to make a blip on their financial anything? Like, it's like,
No.
We've actually noticed like a weird downturn in Super Mario World purchases on the Wii shop. What's going on? Oh, well, Kaizo 2.0 came out that day or something. Like, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, and I mean, it probably helps that everybody who owns a Super Nintendo has Super Mario World anyway.
Yeah, like everyone, like people who are playing this have probably played the legit product a bunch already. So they're just looking for more levels to play. And that seems fine. Like, I
was trying so hard not to laugh because of our stupid chat. So
why? What's going on down there?
they were saying do the OUYA impression.
Like, other people have done it better than me.
I know. And then the next comment was ROM hack Direct 2. So I just started laughing. I had to mute myself.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I don't like. How do you feel about it? Because you posted a video on Twitter that I thought was kind of weird because it was just like basically defending companies for having copyright law, and
it wasn't defending companies that have copyright law. More like saying, "Hey, you guys should calm down a little bit." It's like this is not the way to go about it. You shouldn't just be like, "This is bullshit. I want my Let's Plays of Mario." You should be like, "Hey, we should probably look at these copyright issues and." Like, make them a little more.
They still have their Let's Plays of Mario. Like, that's what kind of makes this less gross than it initially sounded. Because Nintendo didn't pull them. They just started taking money. Which...
That's what I wanted to ask you. Not to interrupt, but they're not pulling anything down. They're just saying you can no longer earn ad revenue based on these videos, right?
Right.
Yeah, they're I don't know, doing some sort of ID scan thing where they determine which videos
Content ID. That's a common YouTube thing, yeah.
Right, like this has more than this number of minutes of our product on display, therefore this is now sort of ours, so our ads will appear on it and we'll get that ad revenue. Which, the thing is like this will probably dissuade a bunch of Let's Players from continuing to make Nintendo Let's Plays because there's no money in it anymore, so they'll just do Minecraft or like some indie game, whatever. Like, there was a bunch of publishers kind of springing up in the wake of this, kind of being like, we're down with Let's Plays, come on over here.
That's what so doesn't that sort of hurt Nintendo in the long run? Yeah. Because like, now because look, in this is what they don't understand, I think, is that talking about your product is almost everything. Getting people to talk about it, be interested in it. Posting Let's Plays means that there's an audience that wants to see or use or something. Not that Nintendo is going to suddenly disappear without them, but that's where I feel like seems sort of like you're setting fire to your own barn a little bit, you know?
It seems really short-sighted. Like, it doesn't seem to really understand how the audience thinks about games anymore. Like, it's just like, oh, well, we deserve that, so we're going to do that. But then you're just like, well, at the same time, you're going like to some of the most adamant Nintendo fans who are actually doing really good PR for your stuff inadvertently, you know, for probably not that much in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, getting the word out there about Luigi's Mansion or whatnot, like putting footage out there for people to see, and then kind of, I don't know how the average person who watches those feels, but I do like seeing a good chunk of footage of a game before I go and drop a bunch of money on it, just to have a better sense of it. So this could well be moving some copies of stuff that they are not really taking into consideration. Or at least, I don't know. Like, it's hard to say, but it seems a little bit like this could, long-term turn out to be a bad idea. Especially Wii U sales and stuff aren't doing good right now. Like, if anyone's willing to spend some time with a Wii U game, like, that's probably a good idea. But, like, you want that to happen if you're Nintendo, but they seem to be kind of not doing.
It just seems to be one of those mistakes that you see companies that are run by people that are disconnected from what's really happening lately. Like Twitter, what's Twitter? What's things like that, and you're just like, oh my god, really?
And Nintendo
you're gonna complain about the ad revenue on YouTube that people are getting, or not complain, but say, hey, that's our money, when it's just all free publicity anyway.
And I've seen like people try to break it down, but it's just guesstimates. But it's like at best, people are making a couple $100,000 on this, like a year maybe. So that's not that much. And considering that's like, getting millions of people to look at Nintendo games, like that's probably actually a good cheap way of doing it. That's kind of new media.
And for that, if you're talking even hundreds of thousands of dollars, it is literally millions of people that are looking at these videos to generate that much ad revenue for these people. So, think about your advertising dollar, and I know it's not in your hands, but you're at least putting that video in front of people's faces. I don't know. Seems counterproductive to what they're doing.
And the weird thing.
Yeah.
The Runaway guys, Nathan.
Yeah.
They're sponsored by Nintendo.
I was kind of wondering how that would impact stuff like that, where they've actually had positive relationships with Nintendo before. Like, are their videos impacted by this, or is things defined?
I have no idea. This is why, John's been gone throughout all of this. I want to talk to him and find out
what he said on that one episode of that other podcast, just to see, because that would have been fresh thoughts from him as it was happening. But
they're probably not affected at all.
I don't really know.
Well, because if they're being sponsored by them, then technically they're getting money from Nintendo, so Nintendo putting their ads on their videos are going back to them somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's a weird, slippery slope. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Retro Kill Screen, if we ever get another one of those done, I'll just pop the question and blindside them.
How do you feel about Let's Plays of your games, kind of? How would you feel about ad revenue being generated because of your thing, but not directly going to you, but at the same time you get exposure? Is that a good idea?
No, specifically, hey, you're part of the Runaway guys, right? What about all this Nintendo bullshit?
Oh, you're saying Retro Kill Screen. I was talking we could make that an Indie Talks question or something, but okay.
Indie Talks for who?
I don't know. Just anybody. How would you feel about a Let's Play of your game? Just generally speaking.
Well, I mean, most of the people we've talked to love them because that gives them exposure.
Right. It's if you go small enough developer, they love them. If you go too big, they get weirded out by them.
Right. Yeah. It just feels like people that are in the know of kind of how things operate in terms of social media and word of mouth and all that stuff sort of feel like it's a good idea. And I don't know, this is just my ignorant view of it, the bigger the company gets, the more detached they are, and they're just looking at the bottom line and saying that $200,000 should be our $200,000, right? And not really considering the implications of taking that money.
You're also cutting off this channel from ever probably making a Nintendo video again. So is that worth that?
I mean, you're talking about probably the center of your core audience too that are making these videos. It's not I guess occasionally it'll be a casual gamer, but the guy that's doing the highly edited and perfectly cut, however long walkthrough of Luigi's Mansion is sitting down and spending how many hours doing this or making it, or I don't know. Mm-hmm. So you're just sort of you're just taking the guys that care about your product almost the most and saying stop doing that. So it's very weird.
I guess the last point I kind of wanted to make was just do rentals not really exist anymore where you are at too? Because that's not really an option anymore up here for video games. Just curious.
Yeah, who are you asking me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's. Yeah, I'm just thinking. I'm oh, okay. No, but I don't think I can't think of anywhere to rent games other than the typical online type of stuff. But because we're pretty much the same thing. Movie rental places are almost gone. I guess Redbox. Yeah. I'm trying to think if you can rent movies from Redbox. A little kiosk
there's typically maybe 24 or something I've seen. I'll check it periodically to see if there's anything in there.
They don't have new stuff though.
It's
Tomb Raider they had, which is a month old now, but 2 months old now, I guess.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's pretty much dead for renting movies.
So like, there just seems to be like few other ways of sampling a game at all with that before buying it, which seems to be asking like a really high amount of faith from your customer sometimes. Like, it's just like, well, you love Luigi's Mansion, right? Come on. And it's just like, dude, like, that game came out 11 years ago. Like, a lot of people don't know what that is. So they kind of want to see it first, at the very least. Like, personally, like, I did rent Luigi's Mansion, the first one, when it came out. Beat it, like, twice in one weekend. And I was like, all right, that was cool, but I'm good. You know? And that's just not an option anymore, so...
Well, that was funny, like, when you're talking about Nintendo Power, or any of that stuff, you know, back in the day, before there really was a way to see all this stuff, I remember getting skunked on a bunch of games. Like,
sure,
I heard this is good, or I think this is supposed to be good, or this looks cool, and you get home and you're like, this is terrible.
Or just buying based on box art and stuff.
Exactly.
Like, I honestly, that would happen at, like, renting stuff anyway at Game Dudes, which we keep bringing up periodically.
Game Dudes is so good.
Just walking through the store, just be like, I don't know, maybe this is a good game. Like, who's to know? I like Inspector Gadget, so I'll try it. And it's like, oh, this game's terrible.
That would be the worst, is when there was like some sort of intellectual, like, there's some sort of license, you know, so they would make a game with some sort of character or item or movie thing that you liked, and you got it home and you played it and you're like, this is the worst piece of crap I've ever played in my life, but there was no video to tell me that it wasn't, and it had this character on the front that I like, so I thought it was going to be good, you know, and they would get you, and they could get you, but
there's a lot less information. So anyway, that's just some musings on that. It's just been a weird big story that keeps coming up, and it's an interesting, I don't know, like, that could impact going forward, like some legality of all this stuff. Gray area is becoming more distinct, but anyway, I guess that's all we got really for today. Do you want to list the emails and things, and we'll shut her down?
Yeah, that's super professional. That's it. Hey, yo, you just want to list everything?
Yo,
so
you want to tell people how they can reach us, and then we'll turn off the thing?
Why don't you tell people how they can reach us?
Because I always forget. I'm sorry.
All right. So we're doing this live on a Monday. We usually do it on Twitch TV, like always, I guess, now. Because why not? I mean, the people that are in the chat right now, thank you so much for not going into that stupid StarCraft bullshit. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways.
Aggressive. Okay.
Yeah. Email is podcast@pixel-response.com. Facebook is facebook.com/thepixelresponse. Twitter is pixel_response. You probably shouldn't send anything to that. Instead, get me at Exposure. I was going to say Krasnor, EXFAUXSURE. Get Nathan at Krasnor, KRAZNOR.
Okay.
What?
Oh, no, you just go so fast sometimes. Crazy. But, all right.
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty... I mean, you know how to get a hold of us. Jesus Christ. If you're listening to this, you know. It's that simple.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, you should check out Ventchat.com. Just saying. They do a podcast, and in some ways, maybe better than this. I don't know.
No, I was just going to say vastly different than this, for sure.
Vastly different than this. If you want a good time, you should probably go to Ventchat. If you want video game talk, probably come here. Is that fair?
But I was so happy to thank you for having me on, because I talked about the OUYA for like 5 minutes maybe on our show, maybe a little more, but it's such a, people might be tuning out on our show, you know, like if I go more than that, because we're not strictly a, let me tell you about this video game console type show. So it was cool to come over here and talk
for sure.
about it. So I appreciate it. Thanks.
Love to have you. Go ahead, pimp all your stuff out, because I will mess it up.
That's really it. Just ventchat.com. Anything with Ventchat. I'm Ventchat on Twitter, VENTCHAT. We do a show Saturdays if you want to check it out. All the info's on the website, email, and all that stuff. So thanks.
I'm usually there. Sometimes.
Yeah, I see you in there all the time. Yep.
Not these last 2 weeks. I'm sorry. I still haven't listened to this week's episode either. Anyways, Indie Talk Season 2 coming soon. Can we say that?
I hope to meet and exchange business cards with people at E3 this time. Like, actually do this right. So, we'll see.
Do you have your business cards?
I actually have, a bunch of business cards.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Retro Kill Screen will be coming back. Yeah.
Can I toss one more thing in?
Yeah.
If there was a question you had about the OUYA, like you're thinking about buying it, and there's something that you wanted to know that I didn't answer, and if I can answer that for you, Probably hit me on Twitter or email, and I'll just answer your question if I can. Because I know
Ventchat
I'm
at Gmail?
Ventchat at Gmail, or just at Ventchat on Twitter, either one. But if there's something you want to know and I can give you an answer, I will.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. OUYA stuff. Indie Talks coming back. I think we're going to be talking to Lucas Pope. Nathan?
Papers,
Please. Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
You're okay with that? You're good?
Yeah.
All right. Retro Kill Screen might be back. I don't know.
Mystery. Okay.
I don't know. We still have to do that.
I could guest again if that's part of the...
Well, you're going to have to because that Zelda episode's coming up.
Okay. I've been playing some of those.
Okay. And we'll see you guys later.
Yay. Bye. I'm waving at the computer screen.
There you go.
Bye, Internet.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Now I'm starting to look at Star Trek movie times. I mean, I'm in no rush. I'm just saying you guys got me all going on it now. Like,
yeah.
Sorry.
I'm seriously. No, it's a good thing because I wanted to see it, but the vibrant conversation got me going. Like, oh man, now I really want to see it.
And now you're going to be like 2 hours from now or 3 or whatever. You're going to be like at Krasnor on Twitter. You're a fucking idiot. Best movie of the year.
Best Star Trek movie.
And then
So
Nathan's
good.
just going to be like, I hate everybody.